The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, let's get physical or digital. Shut the fuck up.
Shall we play a game?
Player to another.
Welcome to another episode of Nude Clan. I am Joe.
And this is Cameron.
And I'm Caleb Craig.
And I am the better of the two Calebs, Caleb Schweiss.
It's a lie.
So what have we all been playing this week? Cameron, let's start with you. What video games have you been playing?
Well, I've dabbled a little more in Fable, but the game I've played the most so far this week is Battlefront.
Okay.
And how's Battlefront treating you?
I love the game, but we're not doing a review on it yet, so I'm just going to say leave it there. I really enjoy it so far.
You really enjoy it?
Yeah.
Have you seen its Amazon star rating?
I have not.
Oh, dude, it's at like 2.
I definitely know why. I can definitely see the reasons for that.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get into it right now.
Okay. Well, usually when people love a game, they don't rate the product 2 stars.
Well, they're rating half of a product is what they're doing.
So 2.5 is basically a 5-star rating.
There you go.
All right. Caleb Craig.
I've been playing more Diablo 3, and I have just started a little bit of Sleeping Dogs.
What is Sleeping Dogs?
It's essentially the Asian GTA, produced by Square Enix.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's set in
Where-
China.
Oh, it's set in China.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Is it Sleeping Dogs? Have I heard of that thing before? I'm not. I think I might have seen the cover. I don't think I've seen a single thing about that game.
I think it was
pretty
kind of
sweet.
prevalent.
Is it a lot like GTA?
Oh, yeah, it's a lot like
So is it
GTA.
completely sandbox? I mean, I'm surprised it was Square Enix to be
it's-
sandbox.
It's fairly sandbox, but not quite as much as GTA is.
Okay.
Like, I think there's a lot more story mode for that game.
Of course, it is Square Enix after all.
Yeah.
Well,
and
they published it. I don't think they made it.
you just started playing the game?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
started.
What are you doing in Diablo 3?
I just barely hit level 70 with my Crusader, and I'm planning to power level some other characters, get the platinum trophy for that game eventually.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll leave you because I know you've had some issues with the game recently, Schweiss.
Okay.
I've only been playing a little bit of video games this week. I started playing Final Fantasy IV: The After Years. For those people who have just found us on iTunes or something like that, me and Schweiss we host another podcast called Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. So I'm playing it for that. I have not yet started Fable. And I really need to get on that because that review is in 3 weeks.
yeah,
Schweiss.
that would be good. I've been playing a shit ton of Star Wars Battlefront. And, I enjoy the game. I see where it's got flaws, but I'm actually pretty good at the online, so I usually do well. But I have run into some problems lately. Now, I kind of like getting the trophies in games, especially when it's get the most kills in a round of Blast. And I'm good at Blast. I'm really good at killing people. I'm better than most people at this game, I would say. There are some that are substantially better than me, but I'm normally...
And is that pretty unusual for you playing a shooter? Like, usually when I get into like Call of Duty or something and I go online for the first time, I'm like,
Yeah.
I should not be here.
I'm actually pretty solid at shooters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but,
I just blow ass, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. But, and it's...
Occasionally.
It's stressful.
If I'm paid.
Yeah. Yeah, the Joe is for sale. If you need that rim job.
We'll rent him
God.
out part-time.
Yeah. Yeah, very part-time. But anyway, I get on and I go into Blast, and the trophy
into Blast,
and the trophy is to get the top kills in a game of Blast. And I do it, and I don't get the trophy. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I was like, all right, well, I'll just do it again. So I do it again, and then I don't get it. And then the next day, I tweet EA, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? I do this shit for your trophy.
Did you
and
say what the fuck, man?
I said WTF.
Oh, okay.
I said, how many games?
But did you say WTFM?
No.
What the fuck, man?
I said like,
It's an awesome name for a superhero.
yeah, I was like, how? Why does your drop trophy not last?
What the fuck, man?
Not what is your what the fuck is it? Game of Blast trophy not drop? And then later I was like, how many games do I have to win? And they're like, we actually fixed this with a recent update. And that day they actually released the patch that came out a few days ago. And I was like, oh, okay, well, thanks. I'll go home and try it again. I went home and I won a game. I had like 7 more kills than the next person, and I still didn't get the fucking trophy.
Did you download the patch yet?
Yeah, the patch auto downloads.
Same thing happened to my brother. He's been really angry about that one because he's been
wrecking face.
I think he got it like 10 times, and it still hasn't dropped for him, and he's getting real mad about it.
There's supposed to be some possible workaround where you finish the round before when the time runs out and you're at the top, but that's not very viable just because normally when you're on a streak, the rest of the team kind of carries on that.
Yeah.
It's very momentous.
The whole team has to be top notch.
Yeah, and so I don't know. They're just going to have to fix it.
Who has the game review next week?
It's Caleb and I.
Yeah.
What are you guys reviewing?
Eco.
Did you guys play it?
Yeah, we haven't played much of it, though.
Oh. Well,
it's a 2-hour game.
Probably get on that.
Well, that's 4 hours.
It's a possibly 2-hour game.
It's okay. So it's about like probably 5 hours, but there's a trophy for beating it in 4, and then another one for beating it in 2. So it's possible.
So what if you're
less than 2 hours?
A complete noob playing that game? How long would it reasonably take? It's
probably not going to take 2 hours.
I've got 9 hours on my save file now, and I'm not done. But it takes every time you die, it keeps the time.
So
I'm about an hour into it, and I'm about like probably a fourth of the way.
Okay. Well, what I'm confused at is I don't think you mentioned that you were playing Eco this week.
We mentioned it before. No, I played it for like an hour.
That's it. Oh, so you played it last. Okay.
I played it on Sunday, so I did play it, but it's been a little bit. Because what I want to do is just finish the game I'm on and kind of learn the ins and outs, where to go, and then I can power through it and try to get the 2-hour trophy.
See, Eco's a game I really wanted to play.
Well, you still can.
I'm kicking myself for not playing it with you guys, but I didn't actually. I really didn't have time for it, honestly, this week. So.
Well, you got 1 more week.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Why not?
Someday. Not anytime soon, though, unfortunately.
All right, fair enough. So, yeah, I did play a teeny bit of that, but, nothing crazy.
A teeny titbit.
Yeah.
A tidbit.
So I think we do, as we've mentioned before, we wanted to cover just kind of some bigger pieces of gaming news real quick. Not go into super detail on it, but that's something we're going to...
You're fucking up my order.
Your order. It's our fucking show.
Yeah, well, we said we were going to do news before getting fat. It was going to be a tail end thing after a discussion.
Is that what we said?
Yes.
All right, well, I'm still introducing...
We're doing news today! There you go.
We're doing it later.
Just not yet.
I mean, you can always cut this section and put it at the end.
No, that would require work.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Too part-time to be listed.
Okay, and, here's what we're gonna open with. I think I have a question from the forums.
Oh, nice.
And I do recommend all you new Nude Clan, because you're all new, as are we. All you Nude Clan. Fuck, I can't say Nude Clan. All you guys new to Nude Clan, please go to nudeclan.net. And right now there's a redirect that takes you to ultimatefinalfantasy.com. You can sign up there. We'll get a podcast or a website, a full website going soon. We just haven't figured out a name for the URL yet. But anyway, that's where you register to become a forum member. And there's a section in the forums for Nude Clan, and you can ask questions, and you can talk about the games we reviewed, and you can request games that we play in the future, which was also another question on our forum.
Yeah, we'll get to that eventually.
This question is from Baindrum, who says, I have recently met through a variety of interactions with people far beyond the reach of my traditional circle, a group of people who have never, ever played a video game.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Let's just let that
Caleb
sit
is
for a
short-circuiting
second.
over there.
Yeah, it's I can't comprehend that.
I truly didn't know such a thing existed, and I found myself befuddled. If you met such a person, have any of us met such a person who's never played a video game?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't know if I had.
I know people who stay away from video games,
Yeah, I know people who stay away,
but there's no way that they never
generally
played.
found out that they didn't like video games by trying it out in the first place.
Okay.
If you met such a person, what would you recommend for them as far as a primer for video games? Would you throw them into old school games to start with? Or would you hand them a PS4 controller right off the bat? Would you show them a cinematic visual artwork or a highly addictive, easy to play game? I know a lot of this is subjective, but overall, what are your thoughts on introducing an adult?
An adult, okay.
Okay, an adult who has never played a game in his or her life.
Because what I
video
show
games.
definitely is different depending on their age. So how old of an adult, though?
It doesn't matter. Just over
An
18.
adult.
Because even an 18-year-old, I'd show something. I'd start out very differently than, say, someone who's 50.
Yeah, I suppose.
Split the difference. Let's go 35. A 35-year-old who's never played a video game.
Well, I'd probably base it off their interests.
Someone who was Amish and then left their village or whatever.
Farmville.
Farmville.
Yeah.
Farmville.
Yeah, they're Amish. That's what they know.
Amish farm.
What about
They'll be like, this is so unrealistic.
what
Yeah.
about Farming Simulator 2016?
Yeah, we could do that. I don't know. I'd probably show them. It depends on their interest, really. I don't think there's a go-to game.
It depends on their personality. Like, I'm not going to show someone who, I don't know. What's a good description?
Okay, so if someone doesn't like Star Wars, you're not going to give them Battlefront. If someone doesn't like war as a whole, I guess, like the war movies,
Then
war
most video
media.
games.
If you know someone who loves war, I have the game for them.
No, but
Okay.
let's take a look. Let's do it in a case example. Let's say we have this 40-year-old woman. She lives alone with her cats and she likes to crochet. Let's say that. How would you introduce this
She's only
woman?
40 and she lives alone with her cats?
You never know. Some people just
man,
their life
earlier
goes
these
certain
days.
ways. But anyways, how would you get her?
Tell us about your mom, Cameron.
Oh, man.
I know your mom does not live alone with cats.
No, she lives with.
She lives with dogs.
She lives with dogs. Right? Very distinct difference there.
And she's still 29. Oddly enough.
Yeah. Anyways, back to my example. How would you broach
I would like to
the
say
subject of video
like to
games?
say that Cameron's mom is an attractive lady.
Yeah. Well, she is the most appealing out of all of our mothers by far.
He's had it out for my mom for a long time.
It's
let's
true.
Just
I have.
throw that out there.
It's
I
true.
have.
And
It's gonna
yet,
be your stepdaddy one day.
No. He's going to end up in a grave one day.
Doesn't everyone?
no, I'm gonna end up in an urn, and I'm gonna be like a tomato plant that my family's gonna consume.
Oh,
Extra salty, just like Granddad.
That's
All right, so how would we introduce some
Yeah.
40-year-old that
This
has?
40-year-old crocheting woman, so she has at least some finger dexterity. You know that much. But how do you show her something on a computer screen that keeps her interest?
I'd give her a puzzle game. I bet you she'd be interested in something like Bejeweled. I mean, they're just fun little games, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge that can be posed by some of the scenario modes in those games, and I think most people can find an appeal in that.
okay.
Unless they have some sort of interest, like, oh, you know, my grandpa, for example, I used to play Tiger Woods with him, and he was better than me at Tiger Woods, even when like I was playing the shit out of it, and he could still beat me because he was interested in it. He had all the time in the fucking world because he's retired, and he played the shit out of this game. Got the Wii, played the shit out of the one on the Wii. So it really depends on what they're interested in. Like my grandmother, I don't know what I would ever have my grandmother play, except for maybe like a puzzle game, because she's essentially that, just without the cats, and add on like 30 years.
All right, but let's take that. Let's take that for an example. Have you guys tried to get your parents to play a video game?
I have, yeah.
And how'd that go?
What did you have him try to play?
Well, a variety of things. Mostly,
Don't hurt yourself.
I had my dad play Mario. He didn't have too much trouble with that.
Yeah, but I see your dad is, I think, a little bit different than most parents would be when it comes to video
Well,
games.
yes, but I don't know. Maybe more open to it. It depends. I think my mom plays. She played Spyro and stuff like that. And Cody's mom, same thing. Like she would play. She would play a lot of just adventure games.
Who's Cody?
One of our
For
old
our
roommates.
listeners.
Well, it doesn't matter. You don't need context to everything. It's
I
just
know.
someone we know.
I know there was this one time, my mom used to work at this company called Omniture, which is now owned by Adobe. But anyways, every now and then we'd get to go over there to wait for her while she was at work. But that was an amazing thing because this company had this extensive gaming room. They had this room set up to look like a dungeon
I've seen it.
with this rotating gun on the ceiling with the fake torches on the walls and stuff, and this row just computers all over the walls.
Oh, wow.
And so, oh my gosh, it was so much fun to sit
I
in
might have seen
there.
a different one. But
So it was so much fun to go in there and play their games. One of the games they had was Battlefield 1942.
Oh,
and a whole bunch of programmers every now and then, they'd all go on break together and then go play around with this. I remember one time my mom came to try to try her hand at this game. It's like teaching a fish how to fly or something like that, like a bird trying to swim. There's birds who can
cringe
swim.
worthy to watch it.
we
There's
need to
birds who can
ask
swim and
some,
fish who
like,
can fly.
Fish trainers.
Yeah. Can you
There
make
are
this fish
flying.
fly?
See, so this is actually a good example
Maybe
because
it's easy.
there are fish who can fly.
Well, it's more like a glide thing.
A glide, and there are birds that can swim, but she was neither of these.
Okay. Well, I
Well,
mean,
your mother is not either a bird or a fish. So
She was a
let's be
person who
clear
couldn't
here.
play a video game, is what she was.
right, and it's interesting because the girl I've been dating, she plays games. She plays a lot of Diablo 3. But I try to get her to play Red Dead Redemption. I gave her Red Dead Redemption because
man.
it's like one of my favorite games. And she has like a really hard time with the extra movement. Like there's left to right. Diablo 3 has like a one movement stick kind of deal.
Yeah.
And the other one's just for dodging. It's the shooter element of, the up, down, left, right, and then
So
walking.
a total new dimension she's
Yeah.
never been introduced to.
Yeah, and it's really difficult. So I guess it does depend on what you do. I mean, it's not like she plays a ton of games, but she does have a hard time with shooters. So
I have an example of that too. Like when my sister, she grew up this, when video games are starting to become a thing.
yeah, platformers and shit.
But there's this, I can't remember the name of this game, but there's this one flying game that I loved so much, and she wanted to try around with me. She just could not get the hang of that extra dimension of now you're flying.
Oh yeah,
around.
you probably had your fuck face inverted.
I can
controls on,
only
too.
fly. Okay, so I can only fly planes inverted, and I can only fly helicopters not inverted.
Yeah,
If this conversation was taken out of context,
yeah. Cameron's just our pilot.
And no,
I
seriously,
can
when
only
we were
fly
playing,
it inverted.
when
I'm
we were
sorry.
playing Battlefield, they tend to be the helicopter pilot whenever there's one around.
I saw this. You were, and you were pretty solid. But I saw this video where people were arguing inversion. Inverted controls, and one guy's like gives the scientific example of like when you're flying a plane, you pull up to go or pull back to pull up.
Exactly, that's why.
And then this
Inverted.
redneck guy's like, up is up and down is down. Like, and I agree with him because that's exactly how it is.
No,
I mean,
because if you liken the mouse or your joystick, if you're a joystick, you're definitely inverted. But if the mouse is your joystick, you're pulling down. You're basically pulling down on the joystick, which in turn pulls back the elevators, and now you're flying up.
right, but we're not fucking pilots, so I
But-
don't know why it matters.
I don't know. It just matters to me. I
Wait, if
don't
you're
know
a
why.
pilot, though, aren't you affecting your wing tilt?
Yeah, when you pull back, the wings pull up.
So when you pull
Towards you.
So
when you pull
it's
back on
as
the
if
joystick,
you're pulling.
Yes, so you're pulling back on the joystick. So you're pulling back towards you and down,
And that makes you
it
go
makes
up.
your elevators.
Right.
It makes your elevators extend, and so you fly up.
So that, to me, that is a visual that makes sense. But at the same time, if you're holding a rifle,
No, I can't play a human. I can't play a human and have it.
You can
inverted. I
can
can't.
invert
Yeah.
adjust your flying controls, which
Yeah.
I can play.
I can.
But some games have like inversion or no. and that's fucked up. You
I
should be able
remember
to
that.
have a
There was
Switch.
wasn't there like this Max Payne game where you can only play inverted?
Yeah, and Final Fantasy.
It screwed me.
12
I couldn't play it. I
controls?
couldn't play it. If I
Camera
fly a plane, it
controls.
has to be inverted. If everything else has to be normal.
Yeah, I feel you. So yeah, with this Banjo, I do think it depends on the person, and I think it's nice to. It'd be good to start them off on something simple that's not super complex and something fun. So like, don't give them Super Mario Bros. Because that's fucking brutal.
Yeah, I would say actually Mario Kart would be a good introduction to a video game because
Wii or GameCube.
honestly,
GameCube,
I don't
probably.
think it matters because
The Wii one
yeah,
is-
because I guess they wouldn't have a controller.
The Wii U one is
yeah, they wouldn't have a
bullshit.
controller preference, and then
Maybe give them the wheel.
yeah,
Fuck the Wii U
it
one.
would be kind of like easy controls. It would be kind of a game they'd understand because it's like a racing game. It's just a fun party game that everybody can just kind of jump into.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a good one to just have.
I have something similar as an answer, something similar to yours, and it's not necessarily like a brand thing. Take them to an arcade, and those games with the shooter guns.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Area
you
51?
point it. Yeah, you point it at the
Area
screen
51 is the best.
and you shoot. On that level, maybe a duck hunt type thing.
I think that'd be a great way to get them introduced
Because
to that kind of genre.
To them, then they'll have the actual physical experience of kind of like the motion and also the experience of connecting the screen to what they're doing
And that might transfer over well when they go to a controller.
if they go to a controller.
If they do, yeah. All right. I
So
think those
either
are-
that or something like Tetris that's really simple.
Yeah, and awesome.
Yeah. So
All right, yeah, that's what I would do, Benjamin, with your non-gamer friends or individuals that you know.
And if you tried to broach the subject with them, let us know what you did and how that went over.
Yeah,
please,
yeah, please do. That's interesting.
please. And I do invite everybody who hasn't not been to our forums yet to go to nudeclan.net once again and ask us. There's a place to ask us questions. It's just the folder's called questions, and that's what we'll answer on the show.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Where else can they find us before we get into our main discussion?
You can tweet me at UFF Podcast. That's for our Ultimate Final Fantasy show. Craig?
You can tweet me at Obsidian Bah, BAH, as Joe likes to have me tell you.
You can tweet me at NudeClanCam.
It's always funny.
It is always funny. And you can tweet me at Joseph DeGolier. That's DEGOLYER.
See, mine is easy to remember, okay?
Well,
Yours.
If I say it every
is-
single week, and
And-
there's a listener who listens every single week, they will then know what it is.
Joe, I've
Kinda
known
like
you
the
for-
Shane Company at the corner of
But see,
State
there's-
Street and 7200 South.
But see, there's a difference between
Open
Weekdays
weekdays.
till
the Shane
8,
Company.
Yeah.
Saturdays
and
till
a-
5, closed Sunday.
There's a huge
Available
difference.
online at shaneco.com.
There's a huge difference between a guy with
It's
a
the
catchy
amount.
voice and speaking English as to opposed to your French
The
last
Shane
name.
Company.
I've known you for how long? I still can't spell your last name.
But
But,
it
I
does
don't
not-
know where Shane
that's because you're an
Company is.
asshole.
It
But
is jaw.
I suffer from difficult last name too, and you're a failure at that.
Well,
as
your German last name is easy to remember. It's just I have it saved backwards on my phone, so whenever I see it, that's the way I remember it.
It's because you're an asshole. You spelled it wrong the first time. No, if you can handle the quotes, yes, follow Joe.
Okay. Well, all right, man.
quotes.
I do share what
An obscene amount of quotes.
interesting things that I read.
It's like Shatner. It's like every time you read a line, you just are discovering this whole string of words. It is amazing.
there's a quote that I want to bring up on getting fat later.
Okay, fine.
Definitely. But
All right, so yeah, no, it's good, and if you someone said like, come on, man, like to one day to yours, and I saw it, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's only 2.
I only did 2
I was
that
like,
day,
yeah.
and he was like, "Come on!" as if his wall, like all he saw on Twitter was my 2 tweets, and he's going, "Come on!"
So if you want
if
to
it
join
was?
us at
If he
the
only
Twitter
has a few
Wars,
followers and following, then yeah, he would.
So join us, Twitter Wars, where we take Joe down for his obnoxious quote
There
tweets.
are some.
Can you two please put a picture on your goddamn Twitter profiles? I hate seeing the fucking egg.
Yeah.
Just like the egg you're laying.
No,
down.
one of you needs to do an egg, keep the egg, and one of you needs to have a little sperm.
There was this one time.
fertilize
There's this
the
one time
other's
I took
egg.
a picture of Caleb and his
close to
head
real
looked
life.
exactly like an egg. I think I still have it somewhere.
It's the zit one, right? Is that
Yeah,
one?
That's the one.
Or it looks like he just like pinch his head and his body.
We should put it up for him. That'd be awesome.
For the About Us page, I don't think he would like that. That's probably the worst picture
Oh,
of
I have
Caleb
a
Gregg.
perfect. I have a perfect picture of Joe we could put up too.
Yeah.
Remember that I sit over?
I told you to tweet it, and I would retweet
We'll see.
it.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh yeah, we have a good picture of you waiting to go up.
I think it should be the one that I took forever ago.
I think it might be. Is it the
No.
one? It's the one where.
It's the one you guys have in your bathroom.
No, it's not that one.
No, it's
No,
not that
it
one.
should be that one.
That one should probably be it, though.
It
Yeah,
should
I
go
agree,
up too.
but It's one with like you and a bunch of Halo buddies.
Guys, I am 100% serious. Do not put that picture up online.
Look,
If it is online, it is on there forever.
Look, I'm not
Don't
gonna
do it.
I'm only gonna retweet it if
Please.
it's initially tweeted.
I didn't put it up there, Joe. No.
There is a
You know
a
what picture we're talking about
suggestive
now, right?
picture of me. I'm explaining
that
this to the
picture. Okay,
audience.
that other
There
picture.
is a suggestive picture of me that I do not want shared.
How about the picture I'm talking about?
It's
is
not
that
suggestive.
picture of it's not suggestive.
It's you and some Halo buddies, and you're making this obscene
It's
face.
the Drew
and you just,
picture
like,
that he posted a while
yeah,
ago.
I don't care about that
And I
one.
just
Oh, okay,
zoom up
yeah.
like, okay, we'll put it up tonight then.
Yeah,
it's going up.
That's been on my Facebook for like a year. They just Facebook has that Facebook memories
Oh
thing.
yeah, I think so stupid.
And the 1 year
Remember this post that pissed
thing
everyone
came
off?
up, and so they did that.
Okay, yeah. I fucking hate that. I'm like, what? It's so
Every
disorienting.
single fucking day. I'm like, great, I did something in 2008. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for sharing.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here for me.
I loved mine because back in high school I never really used Facebook, so it's like, hey, remember this time where you got 2 likes on this photo? I'm like, yeah, I do remember that time. Thanks for reminding me.
Ask you on that subject. So Facebook is sort of a game, right? I mean,
Facebook
It's
has
like
lots
a-
of time
all right.
wasting games.
here's the thing. Do you guys ever go through your friends and delete? Is that a thing you guys do, or is that just a me thing?
I had like 3,000 friends, and now I'm like 500. So yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
really
And you
do
only know
anything else.
20 of them. So.
I do that because there was this time where we all got into this Facebook game called World Domination. And I remember being a part of this World Domination Facebook group where you would add everyone who played it as friends so you could use them to help you with the game. And you end up with hundreds of people you don't know from like India now all of a sudden populating your Facebook page. And so I was going through and
They
deleting
do
them.
populate quickly.
They do, yes. But only at 50%, they get 50% less unhappiness if they stay at one city. Civ 5 reference there, guys.
Okay. I usually like if I see someone's post and I like haven't seen that person for like 3 years and they're not connected with me in life at all, they're gone.
Yeah, I'm cool with that's
Bye-bye.
the whole point of Facebook, though, is to stay connected with people that you don't
I
talk to.
understand that that's supposed to be the.
Well, then why do you even have one? Why not just interact in real
I
life?
have one because some people I don't have
So you
their
can send out
number.
your fucking quotes? Is that why? Well, if you don't have their number, then you don't see them in everyday life. Or else you wouldn't need their number to communicate with
That's
them.
not true.
Who is that not true for?
I don't ask people's numbers all the time. So like, you know, sometimes it's like someone at work or something like that. No.
Right, but you see them in everyday life, so why would you need them on Facebook? You could just talk to them. If they move away, then you then don't see them, and thus can delete
I don't
them.
know. Like I feel like it's just like people that I see.
I
sort of
feel
a
you. After a while, I
Online
delete people.
page, yeah.
It's like,
Or I think I've stopped deleting. I've started unfollowing.
yeah, I've had to remove. I've had to both unfollow and block my own mother because she just posts the most annoying things occasionally.
Like what?
Like just a waste of space, all this
Like your
shit that she
quotes.
posts. No, not even quotes. It's worse. It's worse than quotes. It's like all those disfigured pictures of people, and they're like, "Type amen."
Oh man. Oh.
My sister does that too,
hate that
and I just
so
want to block
much.
them. Like I don't want anything to do with that. It's so annoying. It's like, what the fuck is the point of this shit? Like there is literally no reason for any of this. Like why?
I know. Like you think you're helping people, but it's really of the devil. Okay.
Okay. My grandma, there's no way she's listening to this show. We call her Nana, so I might call her Nana in the future. Nana, she always reposts the missing person ones. Do you guys have? You guys don't know this problem?
I have seen them before.
Okay.
But it's not posted.
She posts those all the time. And the other thing she posts is like animal abuse people.
Oh, really?
So like, there's a picture of some dirtbag looking guy, and then it goes, "This man abused this dog," and then a picture of the dog like hurt, and share so we can take this motherfucker down or something. And it's like, oh, why you do it? Like, you don't even know if this is real. You don't know anything. You don't know if this guy is connected to this dog.
Yeah,
in
it's
any
like,
way.
do you really?
You don't know if these pictures are photoshopped or not, which is something she is really bad at. Like, there was a picture of Obama in like some Islam. Like he has pictures online of my grandma is very anti-Obama. Let me explain that. There's pictures of him online in like Islamic garb for something. Then there's other pictures of him in Islamic garb that are fake.
Yeah, like at the White House and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those. It's
And
ridiculous.
She'll share it around. I'm like, I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, does she know this is obviously photoshopped? And
Yeah.
so I have to post on her thing. I'm like, it's not for political reasons or anything like that, but I'm always like, hey, the shadow on Michelle's side is coming from the right. And on Obama, the light is coming from the top. And the person who's actually in the original picture, their light is coming from the left. This is a photoshopped image.
Yeah. And you can avoid that too by shadowing. You could, if they actually cared. No, I've seen that. And then I saw one where it was like one of those type A men things, but it was a kid with like a piece of bologna over their face, and they had like poked out the eyes and poked out the mouth. And my sister, I shit you not, she like typed amen to that. I'm like, it's baloney. It is it's a fake thing to make fun of people that are doing exactly what you're doing.
I'm now officially, if I don't grab the link, or if I don't post something myself, that's the only thing I will post now. I refuse to repost memes and quotes with fucking pictures on them, which is something I went off about. I went off about quotes, and now you call me a hypocrite, but, they're quotes that I choose. I highlight, and then I share them.
I think that's what other people do too when they're quoting.
That is not what other people do. Other people have the little picture of the sunset with the once you find your love, you are happy forever.
Right, they're finding
because
it and
your love
then
is there,
sharing it.
But you didn't know your love was there because the love of your life could be right next to you or some bullshit. And then it's just like shared from some page, and then they're sharing the fucking quote.
Well, yeah,
And
but
it's
you're sharing
all
it.
goddamn day.
Well, you're sharing it from a book written by someone else. There's no difference. That's why it bugs me, is because you can't actually just post an original thought. Everyone just retweets and reposts
No.
other people's musings. And that's what bugs me about quotes, is I can come up with something myself and then say it, but no one else can. They get it from a page, they get it from a book. Admittedly, there might be words of wisdom. They're, great quotes, but that's not gaining anything. We're not gaining
They're
any
quotes
sort of...
that I find special, not because they showed up in my Facebook feed and I shared them. It's because I was reading, I found something, and I decided to share that with my friends.
I was reading my Facebook page, found it, decided to share it with my friends. I don't see where there's that much of a difference.
I see a difference in the gathering of the information.
Well, if the information's bullshit on either one, if I'm reading an Ayn Rand book, it's just as bullshit as those posts. It's a theoretical dystopian society.
There we go. We lost some listeners because you just went anti-Ayn Rand.
I'm not anti-Ayn Rand. She's a great author. I just don't think that that's what's going to happen.
Look, man, Atlas Shrugged was my favorite book of all time.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's just because, I don't know, the source material can be important, but it's almost the same thing. At least to me, it is. That's what bugs me.
If I share something from Marcus Aurelius, or if I share something from Francis Bacon, I think that's okay. If I share something with the anonymous quote about love in some bullshit from, I don't know, the people always doing it are always like,
What if it's a good quote? I mean, if they misspell, you use the wrong your or there,
Oh, God.
then yes, I'm going to get mad. But but then they're always like, only liberals go after the spelling. I'm like, no, people that know how to spell go after the spelling.
People want to avoid the subject, go after the spelling.
The subject doesn't exist. It's a nothing post. But no,
It's the reposting of images.
all right, fine.
All right.
I hate it all. Even though I do
Whatever.
it sometimes. All right, so
Jesus.
today we are.
Twitter at...
Yes, please propagate.
And you can go to facebook.com/Nude Clan Podcast or Nude Clan Pod.
I don't remember.
Fucking Jesus, guys.
Dude, fuck you. You didn't do any of this.
It's okay. Look up Nude Clan on Facebook and you'll be able to find us, I'm sure, if you search it.
Yeah, Nude Clan Gaming or
It's
Nude
like
Clan
Nude
Podcast.
NEWD, but what's the rest of it? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, someone find out at some point in this episode. And we shall write it and we shall put it on the wall so that we can say it so that there's more than 10 likes on the fucking page. Okay, what are we talking about today?
I think we are talking about the differences between physical copies and digital copies.
Well, we know what the differences are.
Well, our preferences, I guess.
Okay.
The pros and cons of each.
All right.
So once upon a time, even though this is a digital medium, once upon a time there wasn't the internet. And once upon a time, not so long ago, downloading large amounts of space, like a 1 gig game, that's a lot of fucking space on your computer.
Right, and internet speeds were slower.
Let's say 7 to 10 years ago, right? Internet speeds are slower.
Yeah.
So downloading something is kind of a pain in the ass. Amazon was doing paying over the internet thing, but it wasn't commonplace until pretty recently. So at some point in the last 10 years, video games have gone from being physical copied things that you put into either a console or you install on your computer, still having a disc or a cartridge of some kind.
Right.
It's gone from that into an online store on consoles and on PC,
And even
where you purchase it online, you download the game, and then you play it just on your machine.
But there's even times where, like when I bought Battlefield 4 when it came out, I bought a physical copy, cracked open the case, threw it in, and it takes me to the website to download the game.
Yep.
So stupid shit like that
online only.
also happens. But what you're missing, I guess, and there's some people who really love the digital thing. I think at least one of us on this table really loves the digital thing and accepts it. And then there are people who absolutely detest it. And then there are everything in between as far as like buying games is concerned. I think people are missing things like game manuals, which I'm sure we'll just have an episode on game manuals in some future thing. The art of the video games and the used game. You can't get a used digital copy unless it's a cracked copy of a game. And so reselling physical copies.
Yeah, it has value.
That has, it does have value at least for like the next 10 years or something like that.
Right.
So
Where do we stand?
Yeah, where do you stand with this, Cameron? I mean,
I have embraced the digital age
of course. Okay.
because I love being able to own a game and not have to worry about misplacing it and being able to go to, anywhere and then being able to play that game.
Okay.
Or movie, because our video count, I'm the only one who's been increasing it.
Lies. We've increased it.
When?
I was going to, but The Departed was already on
you were
there.
going to.
But The Departed was already.
So you should have just
my Departed.
So you should have just purchased something else.
No, screw you.
Okay.
Contribute.
So
I didn't know it was on there. I wouldn't have bought the fucker. I mean, okay, I probably would have bought it.
So you've fully embraced the digital age. Will you ever buy a physical copy of anything ever again?
Oh yeah, I still like. It depends on the medium. If it's a game, I might lean towards it being digital. If it's music, I lean towards it being digital. Movies, I definitely prefer digital as long as the internet connection's good.
Okay.
But books, I still prefer books in physical form.
Okay. What about you, Caleb?
Is that just because of the screens?
Yeah. So reading a book on a Kindle, the screen, I don't like as much. I just like the
Wait,
being
you got the
growing up
Kindle
as a kid.
Fire,
Yeah,
though,
we've
dude.
got fires, and the backlight actually does keep you awake longer. It keeps your brain
but what I was going to say
active.
though, as a kid, I would stay up so late slate with a book and a flashlight.
Yeah, no.
And I would just read and read. I love doing that.
I prefer physical books too. It just feels right. It's
Like
the book has
smell.
like its own story to it.
You check out a library copy and that wonderful
Yeah, that
bacterial
paint
smell.
scent that you get out
A
of it.
little
Like,
smear on a page here and there.
New book smell is the best smell.
I bet,
on the
yes,
planet.
new book smell. I love going to Barnes & Noble because it just like you can just pick up all these copies of books and the way they smell. It's just,
Yeah.
I love that feeling.
Plus, fuck the Nook, I say. They're overpriced. Dude, their books are like the same price most of the time. I'm like, why would I buy a digital version when I could buy the physical? Although I could carry a library of books on my Nook.
So if I was traveling, yeah, I'll put books on. I listen to Audible. I love Audible because unfortunately I don't have time to really just sit down and read anymore. So I listen to books as I'm driving to and from work.
Okay. That's a digital medium.
But if I'm traveling, definitely this Kindle, my Kindle Fire and Audible is the way to go. But every now and then I'll just kick back and relax in bed with a book, and I love that.
Is there any way to have the paper white function on the Fire, or is it always?
You can, but the backlight is what fucks with you. Like, it actually messes with your brain activity, so it's harder
Well,
to fall asleep.
there's no backlight on the.
No, I know.
Okay.
It's the light. There's no
So
way
it
to
looks
turn it off
similar, but
completely.
it's
It's close. It's still a useful function. I mean, I still read free books on it when I read, which is rare now. But what about you, Craig? What is your stance on digital versus physical?
I'm kind of half and half on that one because, like, it depends on the game. Like, I like to look at my shelf and see that
You
I
like
have
to look at your shelf in the mirror?
I do like to look at my shelf in the mirror.
to look at myself in the mirror.
Well, I'm sorry. What was that impersonation of?
I don't know.
Keep going. No. It's cool, man. Say the lazy dog jumped over the
Lazy.
the quick fox. What the fuck is the sentence that has every letter in it?
I don't know.
Okay. It's say energy iced tea.
Counting it out.
Energy iced tea.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like a mix
You know
of
what? You would have
Japanese Sean
been-
Connery.
You would have been a very sought after voice actor in the mid '90s for video games. I just want to say that.
Ah, yes. Colonel.
Not so much, but back then, like you would
I
have
can
been.
do other voices
You
now.
would have been prime material for voice acting.
Oh,
Just
let me
In the DOS
show you
era.
my voice talents.
Okay.
Because I have many.
Just do it occasionally.
Another episode, not now.
okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have them right now.
All right, Caleb, go ahead.
Anyway, I like seeing the games that I have, like the ones that I specifically love, on my shelf. You know, like
So he's a hoarder. He likes to sit in his bed of gold
His stew.
like a dragon with his treasures all around him.
It's more like a T-Rex at the time.
And he can gaze upon his treasure.
Okay. And then never beat him because he's too incompetent to finish.
fuck you.
You had Final Fantasy VII for years before you finished it, so fuck you is what I say.
How about fuck you? Anyway,
Cameron's never finished Final Fantasy VII.
I have never.
He's not
I have
interested in it,
never
though.
finished a Final Fantasy game. I haven't even begun.
It's different.
Actually, there was only one Final Fantasy
Nude
game I've ever
Clan
played, and
is
I did
Prime.
Oh, it's true.
Clan is Prime.
It's true. He did beat Crisis Core.
Oh.
beat it. Yep, I did beat Crisis.
That's one that Joe hasn't beaten.
Okay. Well, fuck. That'll be. That's the next game.
I not only
Yeah,
beat Crisis
yeah, it
Core,
is.
but I beat Crisis Core twice.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, the second time's like 5 minutes though. If
Yeah.
you get fucking leveled up to hell.
It was just because I was bored as my brother.
all right. Anyway, so
Back to the conversation.
If the people will let me continue.
The people.
Yeah, you people.
And again, we do not let
Are
you
we the
continue.
people?
Yeah.
Finished?
No. It's a 7-minute song. Strap in.
You better be going the whole 7 minutes.
Some kind of monster.
All right,
Come
so
on,
you
back
like
me up,
to
guys.
like to stew on your physical copies.
And only for the games that I really want a physical copy of. Other than that, I tend to get the digital copy because I don't really like going to switch discs or anything.
Okay, so convenience has pushed
And
you.
then you know you can also like kind of share the games a little bit with the other consoles that you have across
Yeah.
like the house and whatever, which is always nice. So you can play the one copy of the game like in two different.
Yeah, I mean,
places.
I've got consoles all over my place. It's like it's like a paranoid man with their gun stashes. You know, like under this here table, there's a Wii just strapped on. Just at any time, you can be like, "Oh, Wii, comfort."
Yes, wee.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then music I kind of don't really get, but I usually, if I do get it, I
He doesn't
get
understand.
I don't really understand the concept of
Why do
music.
people like this?
It's just noises. Anyway, I tend to get that on
I
digital.
have met someone who did not like music.
I didn't like music when I was a kid.
I've
No,
always
this is
liked
like
music.
this is like an adult person who's like, no, I don't listen to music.
Well, a lot of people listen to it as background.
Yeah, that's what I tend
Yeah,
Not everyone loves
I tend
it.
to do
Tell
it.
that
but yeah.
adult they don't understand love.
And then execute them on the spot. All right.
All right, sorry, Caleb, we interrupt you again.
to. Yeah, no, you
must
can
have
do-
Anyways,
no
guys, could we-
emotion. I do not like any kind of music.
I think he was going through a hard time.
Was he
in his life.
monotoned?
Is he mentally impaired in any
no,
way?
No, he was not.
Is he a giant douchebag?
No, actually, he's a really nice guy.
Is
a
he like a fundamentalist religious
No,
person?
he's a very the word to describe him is pensive. He's a very inwardly drawn, pensive person who likes to just project like his own ideas out onto paper, like games. He'd just sit down and draw rules for a new board game or something like that. Or he's now trying to become an author. Is what he's trying to do.
Is he Sid Meier?
He's not.
How can he become an author? Someone who has to use their words to describe feelings, but yet not be able to tap into what music taps into.
Maybe he is perfecting a form of art where
Unless-
he's drawing out feelings from his own observations of the world and not relying on, the words of others put to a catchy tune.
It's not the words; it's the feeling.
I know, Joe. I love music, so I agree with you. It's just, I know.
He's a
It's hard for you
He's
to
a
grasp,
freak!
isn't it?
He is not. Everyone has their own preferences in this world.
All right, Caleb.
he has no preference.
No more ADD interruptions. Are you done?
No. Okay,
Caleb,
so
shut the fuck up. We got to talk about this weird dude Cameron knows.
Yeah. Get your shit done with so we can keep this conversation.
okay, so for movies, I like to get physical copies of because
physical.
yeah, we do. Okay, anyway, we'll
Can you
talk
just
about that later.
let
Anyway,
him finish?
I like getting the Blu-rays because Joe and I have like a little competition
yes.
going, and I think he's beating me
Can't you
right
just
now
let him
in the
finish,
number of Blu-rays.
I'm beating the shit out of you.
Actually, I
How
have
many
a
do you
question.
have?
A shitload.
Yeah, that's not an answer. I've got like 90.
Actually, I haven't bought a movie for a little while.
That's
just
an
'cause-
expensive collection.
Yes. Well, he's got a lot of expendable income.
I just have a question.
No, it's
though.
amount of movies on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
No,
It's not
yeah,
amount
it's-
of Blu-rays, so he has a couple collection stuff.
I just
Yeah.
have a question for you guys. How does HDX compare to Blu-ray?
It's
HDX is Blu-ray.
it's
Okay.
Like
So-
HDX is 1080p. HD is like if you're talking Voodoo, it's 1080p. That's
1080.
what it says.
I had to have. Well, I didn't have to have this conversation with
Yeah, you did.
with Drew Daybell on the on the Godzilla podcast, which is another show that I host. Okay,
yourself on the
resolution is not necessarily picture quality.
Yeah.
There is compression in those digital formats that we get off of Vudu, that we get off of Netflix, any sort of streaming thing. There is extra compression there that takes away, it degrades color and it degrades sound just a bit. Blu-ray is really fucking good. HDX is not quite as
HD,
good.
yes, but HDX is
No,
the
no, no.
enhanced sound version.
HDX is still not quite as good.
I believe it's not as quite as good.
And it has nothing to do with resolution. 1080p is, that's the resolution that the human eye can really tell on a screen. Like, you can tell between 720 and 1080p. Human eye can't actually detect a difference in resolution between 1080p and 4K. That is a lie put forth by people who are trying to sell technologies. The real difference is the color range and color spectrum that the human eye can detect within those technologies. And so, yeah, they're 4K TVs. They're great. The human eye can't actually tell the difference, except in the color that the 4K TVs are more capable of putting out. And same with file formats. And Blu-ray is really the best thing you can get right now.
All right, well, that had a lot
Long
to do
answer.
with gaming.
It did.
So much.
Yeah, that's so much to do with it. You're right. You know, I can count on. I don't think I
If
can count on
someone
all of
says-
our fingers how many 4K games there are.
That's going to be a thing.
Yeah, that will be a thing. There are some. I think there are some options where you can play your games in 4K.
Yeah, you might
on
be
your
able to play the
graphics card.
games
You have
in
to have the
4K,
graphic
but is it
card
a
for
4K disc? No, it isn't. So nobody gives a fuck.
And can the human eye detect it? No.
Which also, and who has the money to go buy those fucking TVs?
Monitors.
None of us. Yeah, monitors would be okay.
They have to say things like 4K so that they can have another range of technologies that they can sell for another generation.
I don't know. I mean,
And
I've seen
although there are color improvements, that's
Yeah.
what you're seeing.
okay.
Which is an
You're
improved
not
image.
actually seeing it can be 1080p with those color improvements.
I saw a 4K TV with a really good refresh rate next to a 1080p.
Refresh rate's another thing.
I know.
Yeah, that they put it next to the shitty ones. I'm sure to be like, hey, look how much
there was
better
they
it
put it
is.
right next to another. So it was both from Sony. They were both from Sony. They were both the same refresh rate. I didn't know. I can't tell you all the specifications on it, but there was a huge noticeable difference in the 4K. And they're playing the same thing at the same time.
Yes.
All right.
The 4K TVs that they have out right now have
Albeit-
great refresh rates.
Albeit
It's the same technology, though.
they had enhanced the video for 4K though. That they were playing. It was enhanced for that. It wasn't
Okay.
just the same.
So it wasn't necessarily the same Blu-ray, the same disc.
I don't think so.
Yeah, see, that's where you run into a whole. Now we have to upgrade all of our discware, our hardware, and our software
Yeah.
instead of just one.
It's a very complex thing. It's not about resolution. But go ahead.
Well,
I'm sorry. You know what? I don't think it's a bad thing to have a conversation about because, the 4K TVs, refresh rate's great.
I mean, that's going to be pertinent to gaming in a little bit.
color is better, but you're not getting it for the 4K. Your human eye can't actually tell
We're too slow,
if it is true 4K.
too fucking retarded.
Because they do lie about their stuff. They lie about having 240p refresh rates on LCD TVs by calling it 240 super smooth or something, some bullshit. That's not actually 240 hertz.
That's why you get an LED TV, and you don't have to worry about the refresh rate. It's prime.
yeah, but then you have to worry about different things with the LED TV.
I think my TV looks better for video games than yours, but yours looks way better for movies.
Yeah, and that's why I bought it, was for movies.
Yeah, but like FF10, when I was trying to do the Chocobo race on your TV, I was like, I can't.
It's a dimmer television.
I can't. Yeah, it's not quite as crisp.
It's more true to the colors, and it's less.
Less true to the angles.
It's
Because that's what I noticed the most is like the
you
outline
need
of the
something.
balloons.
You need a TV that's very contrasty for video games.
Okay.
And it's just doesn't have the contrast because the contrast is not actually true. Though your TV pumps up the contrast for that. It's also a smaller TV, so it kind of needs to.
Yeah, and it looks better because it's smaller. When you stretch the image, you stretch the dots per inch.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway,
anyways,
no more. I'll fucking turn this shit down.
all right. So the last thing, I guess, would be books, which I pretty much read across every format. I mean, I have physical editions of books. I also have books on my phone that I read through the Kindle service, and then I also have Audible, which I read, which you listen to. So I have pretty much every.
But you can
Wait.
read Audible. I guess you can look at the book description.
You can read the book descriptions. So I guess you can read that.
Audiblepodcast.com. By the way, we are taking submissions for anybody who wishes to sponsor the show.
Yeah,
Caleb,
please give us money.
do you find that a certain
That's a great
genre
thing to
of
say.
book is in one format over another?
What do you mean?
Like, you have a wide range of tastes in fantasy, science fiction, and then even anime.
that is a
That's not a wide range of taste.
Shut up. Anyways, do you find that you have a format for a particular genre over another?
About as wide as the gap between your two fucking
I
eyebrows.
pretty much go everything. It's just whatever is easily available. Don't listen to Caleb. He has no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
I do,
ever,
too.
At any time, he's just spewing noise.
No.
Like whenever he says stuff,
Dude,
it's
what
more
he
just
said
like
was
he says the
beautiful.
words that like he knows.
No, that was perfection.
That was a wonderful little dig he did there. Go ahead.
From years ago, Cam.
Anyway.
Do you have genre preference to the formats?
No, not really. I pretty much.
Because I would assume you read most of your anime off of online, from what I can remember.
Most of your anime.
Yeah, it's because no one's gonna fucking produce it either.
Anime books?
Yeah.
Yeah, like mangas.
No, I
he
don't.
reads a lot of that.
I don't actually.
It's not a book.
Oh, you did.
No, not
Well,
really.
You've read them.
I have read them. And
How many have you read?
Probably like 20
Thousands.
books. It's not that much, dude. I really just tend to watch.
But here's the
shows.
thing. I bet you think that there's a difference between comic books and manga.
No, I don't.
So you've only read 20 comic books in your entire life.
Wrong.
Okay.
It's okay. Japanese manga is like a Japanese.
It's
thing.
just a different language in the
Yeah.
same medium.
It's essentially the same thing.
We
They're
just
both
call it manga,
drawn.
but it's a goddamn comic book.
yeah.
I
it
do
is.
read comic books, actually.
Yeah.
So.
See.
But they're the same. It's the same medium.
Okay, I was separating it because
Sorry.
Cam was specifically asking about that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I also enjoy both forms. I mean, it's nice to have a physical disc. It really is. I enjoy having my PlayStation 2. I enjoy having all my PS1 games that I play on it. It's nice to have that shelf full of games. I mean, it's something physical. It's something I can look at and be like, now, that's awesome. I have 1 through, 13 in the Final Fantasy series, other than number 3 on my Kindle. And I love it. Although I do also love getting 25 games for $26 on Steam.
Yeah, that is always nice.
When THQ goes out of business and I just get their whole fucking library for nothing. There's nothing quite like that. I mean, all the Prince of Persia games, all sorts of games I've gotten really good deals on Steam for, and I think for me, it's a buyer's choice. So like whatever one,
Well, it is.
right? But whichever one's cheaper is what I'll take.
Okay.
And digital copies tend to be cheaper.
They can
I've
be.
noticed.
If it's the same price, if it's a new game,
no.
if it's a brand new game, I normally stick to my console if I have that console. And I'm not really sure why I do that, but then I buy it new because with PlayStation Plus, I mean, we've got all these free games that I can download. I've got all this space, and I want to kind of keep the space set aside for games that I can't get physical discs for.
Space between.
And everything that I can get the disc for, I mean, it's just, it's not necessarily that I like having the disc for Battlefront. It's that I don't want to have the 50 fucking gigs of download space taken up from Battlefront when FF7's port is only downloadable. There's games that are only downloadable, and I'm going to kind of stick to that unless they have some epic sale,
Okay.
in which case it just depends.
Here's my thing. They kind of stopped doing PC games physical. I mean, there's a few that still come out in physical copies. Though those usually tend to be the mega huge releases, and usually from Blizzard. let's
Even
be
then,
honest.
they're just like the download. They force you to
Yeah,
download.
Blizzard
Yeah.
is they're still with Diablo 3. It's
So, I will go for whatever is cheapest.
yeah.
So, if it's on Steam, it's probably going to be the cheapest version of that game that you can get a hold of.
Well, and
true.
even then, that's not true because when I bought
It's
Roller
also
Coaster,
the easiest copy to get a hold of since PC games are hard to find.
true.
Now, console games, there is a $60 version of Diablo 3 that you can buy brand new on the PlayStation Store,
Yeah.
or you can buy a used copy
For 30, 20 maybe.
of not around here because I tried for like $40.
Or we can go on Amazon and find it for
I got
40.
yours new for 30 on Amazon.
Okay, new for 30, physical copy on Amazon.
Right.
But it's still $60 in the PlayStation Store.
Okay, so with the digital
So
stores,
why the fuck would I ever get a digital copy of that game?
the digital stores, like I've noticed that the PS4 store has kind of kept up with some of the price drops of games and stuff like that,
Right.
which is nice because the PS3 never ever did that.
Yeah, they're
like
so
they would
pricey.
constantly be the same. And then with the digital games, they always tend to have sales. where stores don't really do that. So like they'll have
like GameStop would never have like, oh, they're having this on sale.
and then they would never be as cheap.
Okay.
Like like I think they had Diablo 3 on PSN for sale for like $20 like a few months back.
Yeah, that's nuts compared to.
And that you would never even get the
do
physical
love nuts.
copy for that much.
Those
Like
summer
the
Steam sales.
Yeah.
and then the Steam sales, like they get ridiculous. Like I mean, I got like Caleb was talking about the
Games you
THQ
didn't
one.
even know
and
you
then-
wanted.
Yeah, and then I got
Now,
like all the
only
Tomb
$1.
Raider games for like $13, which is sick. That's
Every
like
Tomb Raider,
$100
yeah.
for like all of them.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, so I got it for $13, and that's
Jesus,
dude.
Now you know why I want to go back into PC gaming. It's just it's so cheap.
Master
it's expensive.
Race. I'm telling you.
It's so cheap. They get you to spend so much money.
We'll have a console versus PC argument another day.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say put a pin in it.
Can't.
And
No,
wait
I'm just
on that
explaining
one.
to you right now. I'm not going to argue with the merits. It's just that
I thought, wait, weren't you going to get a PC?
I was.
And now you're going to get a PS4.
Yes.
Or are you going to get the PC eventually?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
want that. I want that PC.
I understand.
So that's what it boils down to as a poor man.
Is price.
However, I do think that there is some weird human need to collect your trophies upon the bookshelf.
Yep,
And
that's
that
the
trophy
Blu-rays.
is, despite
Those
the
are
fact
Blu-rays,
that I will never go back to physical copies of books again, by the way.
Yeah.
Ever since I got my paper white Kindle, that's it.
I can kind of understand that.
It's the paper white.
I
shit,
just
dude.
have-
It looks like a book,
But Joe,
I read it like a book. It doesn't hurt my eye.
I just have this vision when I finally have made it and I have my house. I'm going to have a library.
Yeah, you're just going to have a fucking Kindle on like a pedestal. And we're going to have.
I'm going to have a fireplace with my little like leather reading chair
Believe me.
and then just books.
Believe me, if I
Books
were a millionaire,
everywhere.
I would have the same thing. But it's only for the trophy aspect of it.
Right.
It's not because I would
Right,
actually
exactly.
go in and read the book on the shelf.
Oh, I would.
I have a shitload of books, and I think I've read half of them.
Yeah, I haven't read a bunch of my
I
books.
used to have a shitload of books.
Yeah, I used to have more too until I loaned them to your ass.
There was only like one book.
But like, man,
That was a part of the shitload of books.
There is something. There is something to be said about that.
can get you another
the
one.
trophies.
No, I agree, and I can see where you fall under that because you bought a physical copy of Final Fantasy XI after already buying the game. You already owned the
Okay.
fucker, and you bought it just to have the fucking physical.
Okay. I actually
aspect.
bought the physical first.
Oh, why?
But then I bought the digital when I found out that it was better on digital. And so I did. Okay, I did that.
Better?
I did do 14 where I knew I needed Heaven's Word, but I still just bought 14
And it was already used.
to have it on my shelf.
Right. No, that one's the one where you fucked up because you thought you were going to be able to play it, and it was already used. They had a code in it.
Yeah, by the
And
way,
I
used
forgot
game
to-
stores, if it's an MMO,
Don't touch it.
Don't
just
buy
fucking
it.
leave it alone. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about the shelf. It's a beautiful thing.
I agree. Yeah.
But I gotta say that as a college student who has moved around a bit, there is nothing worse than lugging around the books and the movies
Yeah.
and the games. There's nothing worse than that. That is the thing. Like, you can have a piece of furniture, but it's a piece of furniture you're going to use all the time. This shit is going to sit on a shelf.
Right. I mean, when are you going to play Final Fantasy 1 again? It's not going to be for a long time, if ever. But we
Right.
still have the physical version of 1, and we're never going to get rid of it because it's an old game.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you say that, but when you look at certain games on Steam, like if I were to go buy Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, I'd spend, $12 on Steam. I can go buy it online used, come straight off the disc, played from the disc, $1, a cent even, just shipping cost. So we say that, but in the face of instant gratification, I think many of us fold.
That is a part of it, yeah.
Man,
Not
that's
having
what
to
makes
put my
it tough.
shoes on
It's
and go
like-
out the door.
Oh, I can go to Walmart and buy this game.
No, that's what makes it instant, is getting your
GameStop
shoes
and
on
buy
and
this
going
game.
out the door.
Well, there's certain things if you're buying, yeah.
Like that's where I fail.
If you're buying a digital copy or if you're buying a physical copy, but on Amazon.
Yeah, like if I'm buying physical either way. So like I realize, I'm like, okay, now whenever I buy a Megadeth CD, I'm going to buy it on Amazon because I know it's going to be like 10 or $11. I may find one for $5 or $6 at a rare sale, but that the odds of that happening are not very good. And if I find the CD, I'm going to buy it. And if I go to fucking FYE, I'm going to spend $20 on something I can go online and spend $12 on and just wait 2 days. But the trouble is, if you're really in the mood to play something, like if I was like, oh man, I want to play Fable so bad right now, I just go buy it on Steam. Or I go buy it, in the store. Instead of buying it online for $10, I spend $30. So I think that does play a big factor, cost versus time. It's almost like a formula of when do I want to play it and how much does it cost? Like, is it worth it to go down to FYE to pick up that CD because I want to listen to it really bad? Or can I just fucking suck it up?
You know what else?
Or just listen to it
on Spotify.
Free.
They're fucking ads.
I just thought of
Pay for
something.
Spotify.
I should probably bring it up. Okay, video games. The game companies that put out the video games, I think when they sell something on Steam, it's like 10%, right? That Steam gets? Or something?
They get most of it on Steam.
Okay, so Steam gets 10% and they get 90%. Now, when they have a physical copy of a disc that's $60, they're not only splitting it with the retailer, they're also splitting it with the people who manufacture both the disc and the cover art and the box.
I'm sure that's not very expensive.
And the distribution company that has to bring it to the retail stores.
Yeah,
okay?
That's true.
So they're splitting. I'm not sure what the percentages are, but they're splitting that off, and I'm sure it's more than 10%.
I'm certain it depends on the corporation, too. I mean, if you're going to be shipping in mass, you can only get a better deal. So
a digital game that sells well is going to make more money for them than a physical
it would.
copy.
Yeah, I think that's why we're seeing such
the game companies have to be pushing that shit.
I think they are. I mean, some of them are pushing it in iffy directions, such as like EA with Origin. It's really good in some aspects, but can be clunky. But if you get in on Steam, I mean, that's a big base. There's a lot of people that use Steam. It's like, I think there was like 3 million people online.
The other thing I would like to say is that let's say we all just decided one day that, with the exception of books for Mr. Cameron, with the exception of books, we're all just going to go digital. Okay? We've decided, hey, and there are plenty of people that have done this. I'm sure there's some listeners out there who have done this, who have said, I will no longer ever buy a physical copy of anything ever again. I refuse to touch things with my hands. Except for my own dick.
and the medium in which you're consuming the digital content. You have to touch that.
Yeah, that's true. It is so much easier to go into the Kindle store, to go into the Steam store, see something for only $5 that you always wanted to play, but never have. And you may not even have a plan to play that game right now.
But you open the world of possibilities.
But you just go, you put in your debit card number, or maybe it's already put in. And you just, or credit card or whatever. We have arguments about this all the time. So I feel like I say debit card and then Caleb will say credit card.
I like to make money off of them.
It's just so easy to just press the add to cart
and buy.
Checkout.
Right, it's the instant...
it's instant gratification, and there's not a sense of actually losing money because there's no physical...
It's not. It's a lie because you are losing money.
Well, no, that's not that.
That's not the psychological part of losing money isn't as present as you would be if you're actually there.
That's true, but
if you go to the store...
If you treat your money as just numbers, it does work that way. That's how I treat it. I just treat my money as like a fucking number on my banking page because that's really all it is to me. I don't actually touch almost any of it. It's all just this fucking number in script. And if you view it that way, it can
in Sanskrit. You're like, fuck, I can't read this.
Yeah, no, I'm like, jeez, gotta translate, get Google in here. But in that way, I think that's why you're able to. It just kind of depends on what you've grown up doing. Joe's family is a little more old school, so cash is kind of their thing. My mom doesn't have money, so I just kind of go with what's new. What's current, and I don't know. I think it can go both ways, though.
Just remember, my old school family, they're pretty well off.
Yes.
Yeah. Not
well.
rich.
It's a little different nowadays. It's not quite as easy as it was back then. So
they're doing just fine.
Different. Yeah, they're doing just fine. It's a totally different generation.
Helps you do just fine.
Yep. Damn straight.
I think my biggest problem with digital might be that it requires too much space for the games that they make now, especially like on my PS4, for instance.
external hard drives.
Okay.
And external
So-
hard drives.
The
You can always get those, and that's nice.
cloud.
But then with like the PS4, it only comes with like a base memory of like 500 gigs, and then all these digital games that are coming out are now like 50 fucking gigs each game.
Yeah.
And so like it's gone in like 5 games.
But with your profile, you can go on. You can get rid of a game on your thing.
Yeah, you
And
can
it's still
always like
yours.
And it's still
uninstall
yours.
it and then install a new one,
That's-
but then that still takes like hours to install.
That's
and
true.
and
Yeah.
Hey, that is
and
very
delete
true. So
and then
space is a
do
huge
it all
issue.
over again, especially if you want to play that game again. Like,
Right, and that's why I got the physical version of Battlefront, because you got the digital one because you wanted to play it with me and you didn't want to go down to the store.
yeah,
But-
what is that?
So there is something sad, though. I think most of us are kind of in between. I guess Cameron has really
Well,
gone full
My
digital.
only real gripe
Except for
against
books,
digital
for some
is internet speed. You have to have internet speed to match
Yeah.
your
that will all increase.
And-
That's just getting better.
And
better.
if you have a roommate who hogs the internet, he's a internet whore in his room.
Very true.
And you can hardly download.
He is not
a
talking
movie
about me. Let's be
in
clear.
Talking about the
480p.
scale.
No, yeah. The problem is with our routers, we can you can take a certain chunk of
And
the pie.
I'm pretty sure he's taking.
Oh,
it.
I'm fucking certain.
I'm
he
pretty
is,
sure he
based on
took
what
the
I've
whole
seen.
fucking pie.
Because
it's his.
when we're watching Sopranos, a fucking show that's been out for 10 years, and it's it looks good, but it's not like, oh my god, it should not.
It
have,
doesn't matter how
that
good the
doesn't
movie
affect
look.
it,
It
dude.
doesn't.
Well, regardless, it's
Doesn't
not.
affect
It
it.
shouldn't matter. Buffering should not exist in this day and age with you guys' fucking internet. It shouldn't exist. So that bastard is stealing it all.
Well, that's all going to get better. I think we can all trust that kind of thing will get better.
the age
And
of
here's-
Wi-Fi is upon us.
Here's what's going to happen. It's going to be the age of digital, and we're already almost there. Like we're getting there, where almost everything is going to be digital. Like we're at a point right now where people like game or books are not being sold as well, so that Borders goes out of business and shit like that. And eventually, it's going to be Kindle or used bookstore in major cities,
Yeah.
right? That's where we're going to be at. What the fuck are you pointing at?
What?
It just looked
fucking
like you're
say
pulling
it.
up statistics over there.
Oh, it's Steam downloads. Like how many bytes. It's not actually useful. I was looking for useful stats on Steam
Right.
and I couldn't fucking find any.
Cameron was just like looking at everybody and then pointing. It's like, what the fuck are you pointing at? Okay, all right. So
There are no downloads in Antarctica.
We're going to a digital age, and here's the thing that here's
Good to know.
the problem I have with the digital age. We are not storing movies on film anymore, and games are too complicated to like print off the basic script so that someone else could, I guess, program the same game.
Okay.
You're also going to be losing technologies as these game companies, go into new consoles, and eventually consoles are gotten rid of and put into the TV or whatever the fuck happens in the future. You're to a point where 150 years from now, we'll have games that no one can play on anything ever. And you'll have digital shit that's been deleted over time. And it's sad, and books will have been burned away or some shit. And
It'd
it'll all
like,
be digital
you don't
files.
care about the environment. You're cutting trees to print books. What is this?
So that's something that's sad. It's not gonna be around forever.
The physical versions?
Just the media that we have around us. It's impossible for it to be around forever, unless people really try to keep it around.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it'll still exist in some way, and even if it does all import into digital, it's not like we're losing it. It's just being transferred.
Let's say Amazon. I've had this conversation with you before. Amazon goes out of business, you lose all your books.
I think there's actually some protections behind that, but I feel like their user agreement has some things like that. If they get bought out, or there's a way. I feel like a lot of companies like that have clauses where you'll have access.
You buy the book, you own the book. It is now your book in its entirety. You can download it. You can burn it on a CD. You can do anything you want with it. It's yours now. You own
Plus, in your your post-apocalyptic idea works.
In the post-apocalyptic world,
it doesn't
where-
work with your fucking Kindle because we're not going to have power.
where all the servers go down, physically
Yes.
are
exploded.
Are explode. Yeah,
They
exactly.
explode.
Then, luckily, you
It
have
will explode.
a solid copy of this video game
Okay.
that you play online.
Oh wait, or on your PlayStation. Oh shit.
Yeah. I'm saying at
Everything's
that point,
gone at that point.
Yeah, at that point we would
And
probably.
then my physical library is the only thing that keeps me going.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is the wealth of human
Our
knowledge.
books.
Tom Clancy books.
I
Yes.
love Tom Clancy books.
I know you do. That's the thing that's sad. And you lose things like game manuals. And then stupid things, exactly like you were saying before, the thing where you go buy the fucking game and then you have to download it anyway online.
But
Yeah,
let's
it's
talk.
weird.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a
The
different
first time I got mad at something like that was the idea that Diablo 3, you had to have an internet connection to play Diablo 3 when
Yeah.
it first came out.
Yeah, it's
And I was like, what? You can't just...
it's all online. Yeah. I mean,
Back
that's
then when it had the in-game store that you could sell people items.
and actually get real money
Yeah.
eventually. But and it's interesting because that can be seen as problematic. But at the same time, technology is advancing in such a way that pretty much everyone's going to have internet access soon. Like internet isn't some new finagle thing that you got to like fucking really.
Yeah,
You don't have to like.
even a word?
It's cheap. Yeah, finagle.
there are the idea that internet is a resource that should be made available to everyone.
Right, and Google's hitting that
and
up.
Google is going to be
A
putting
private
internet all over
institution.
the
It's
world.
not fucking socialism. Google is going for it.
Yeah, no, it's
So-
not. It's not. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No, I'm not
it's a
saying
great
you're saying
thing.
it's a bad
It's they're providing something they believe should be a resource,
And it's so
available to
cheap,
everyone.
it doesn't actually cost them that much money. And then that's where we run into these problems with, internet companies, and they're like, oh, they go into an area.
The
and they
reason why
control
Google
it.
would want to do that is because they are the biggest search site, so that's more people going on their search site and their AdSense stuff where people pay to get advertising through Google.
Yeah.
They do have an interest in putting everybody on the internet.
They do. Plus, it's so cheap that it
it's
doesn't
not
matter.
some great thing that they're doing for mankind.
It is
I would
great
like-
for those
It is
third world
great for
countries
mankind, though.
that can't have access to the internet.
It can be great for mankind and still.
I
be serving a
recently
purpose
read
for them.
something about how the difference between
I would
intelligence.
just like to say that it is not
the gap is increasing between the poor and the middle class because those who can have access to just basic knowledge and those who can't, it's just increasing. And if we give access to everyone, what is this, Joe?
No, just keep going. You can say.
I
your
feel like this is becoming less and less of a video game discussion.
It's not been a video game discussion most of the time.
Are you gonna finish?
No, I'm done.
Oh, okay. Well, my whole thing with the gap between the rich and the poor thing is that it's
Not
it's
money,
mostly
it's just the knowledge, accessible knowledge.
okay. If it's not a money thing, then I have nothing to talk about. I was about to say like poor in the United States is not poor. It's not poor everywhere else. It's a mental poor more than it is actually a physical poor. So like poor in the United States, you're still gonna be getting food, even though it's shittier food. And also, you can afford a big screen television.
That's not what I
Poor
was bringing in at all.
elsewhere
I wasn't
are
even in
people
America.
starving.
I mean, most people in America do have access.
But you were
to the
talking
internet.
about the gap between
I'm
the rich
talking
and the
about-
poor, and I'm saying, well, the poor right now.
I'm talking about
Great.
people who have
Not
access
so
to the
long
internet.
ago.
The knowledge gap between those who have access to the internet and those who don't is just huge. They are at an extreme disadvantage.
I feel like some people connect to the internet and get stupider, but that's a different conversation.
Or
Well,
people,
it's not necessarily stupider. You're just getting different ideas.
yeah.
Some of them can be wrong
Yeah.
and fallacies, but
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily make you
Exactly.
dumb. It just means you're very malleable to incorrect facts.
I think cause and effect here. Were you dumb before or were you made dumb?
Yeah, that's the thing, and most of them it's probably before. But no, I think it's a natural progression, though. Getting back to the actual topic with the video games, and all the technology's there, everything's there for things to go digital, but we do lose a certain sort of charm to the old way. But I mean, everyone, lots of generations have felt this, where new things come in and they're like, oh, this is going to be lost now. And it's not necessarily always lost. It's just transferred. It's just viewed in a different way. And hopefully it never becomes a problem where we lose all of our shit that we've paid for in this digital copy. But
hopefully not.
But
I bet there'll be something will go down.
Yeah.
And we won't get it back.
Maybe. I don't know. But if we don't get that back, I don't think we're going to be getting much back.
Oh, wait. I remember something. Okay. There was a screenwriting software where everything was online.
Oh, yeah. I remember
it was some
listening to your
secondary
podcast, yeah.
screenwriter software. And this is the fear, okay? Now, people were saving all their work on the website that the screenwriting software was. That was their server, was their hub for everything.
Right.
They were doing some maintenance and something went wrong and wiped everybody's projects. And they could not get it back.
That's a little different, though, because that's you putting something in instead of you getting something out.
No. Here's the thing. That when you're saying you have like a account with something.
Right. I have a Steam account.
That information is going to be stored somewhere.
Right.
And that information that has all the things where you're like, I own this game.
Right. But
that shit can go down.
Right. But guess what else I have?
It's human error, but it can go down.
I have digital receipts proving that I've purchased a game. That's where it can be a little different. If you don't keep those, if you just delete those emails, which I have done, then it's gone. You're right. I think that's where it's a little different, though, is you're putting your material in, and then it's just gone.
I don't know.
No
Backup. You're trusting an organization to take care of it.
Which means you're a fucking idiot if you don't have a copy or your own script. If it really means that much to you, if it's like this big deal, you should probably have your own fucking version of it.
You should probably have a backup. Yeah, you're right. But when it comes to like what you've purchased, that can be a hard thing to prove what you purchased.
It can, yeah. I can see that.
So,
I mean, I could just hack someone's email that's got 10,000 Steam games and be like, oh, look at this. This is mine. You know, maybe there would be some problems with that even then. Yeah. But that is a valid point. I just don't know.
That sounds like the scariest fucking thing in the world, too. Like,
if you had a lot of stuff, yeah, I could see that being pretty rough.
So... All right. Do we have any headlines from video games? Video game news. We have no jingles yet, so it's like news. Yeah, there we go.
Wow, that was awful. I think the only thing that I found for like Nintendo related stuff would be like next month they are re-releasing the original Pokemon games, so Red, Blue, and Yellow, onto the 3DS store, and it will have wireless trading, and wireless battling, which is awesome.
I've heard they had that before, didn't they?
No, when they were on the Game Boy, you had to have like a little cable to connect the Game Boys together.
So it was wired.
Yeah, so it was wired before, but now they've added a feature that allows people to communicate through their 2DSs, 3DSs, whatever, which is awesome. So it allows them to kind of bring an older game into a modern setting.
So happy day for Pokemon.
Yeah. those are solid games.
So those are games where you can, like, every generation you can get your previous shit, right?
No. The Game Boy Advance games, they don't have any way to do that. The save is on the cartridge.
Well, okay, so you can... there is a way to essentially bring all of your Pokemon from the Red and Blue and Yellow games all the way to the newest versions. But you would have to finagle it in some...
Yeah, the new word.
Yeah, the new word. In some kind of weird way. I can't remember exactly how you do it, but you'd bring basically all your Pokemon over, and it's kind of awesome to think about that you could have like all these Pokemon that you had in the very beginning, and then bring them all to the newest gen.
Okay.
And then the other news, I think, would be that Nintendo is coming out with their newest console, the NX. And that is expected.
Is that?
Are they going to come up with some stupid name to call it when they actually put it out? Kind of like the Nintendo Revolution.
I don't know.
That was an awesome name, and then they called it the fucking Wii, which I still think is a dumb name.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't was Wii U.
Yeah. Which I think of the movie Kung Pao every time I hear Wii U because of.
Yeah.
And the rest of us suffer from brain cell. damage after.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so
Reference.
so the NX is expected to be like, I guess that like all I have is rumors because there's not much solid stuff on it right
Isn't
now.
that supposed to be their HD console?
Yeah, essentially,
So they actually break into the market
They
in
did
a-
say that
in a way
that the NX would be different from the Wii and the Wii U.
So it would sell.
Yeah, so
like the Wii
essentially,
U.
so it would sell.
Okay.
And then it's supposed to be also a handheld, and they're coming out with another console. So the handheld is supposed to be coming out, I think, the end of this year. And
Okay.
then the console is expected
Well,
sometime the year after.
If Nintendo does anything well, it's handheld. Like they're
Yeah.
pretty fucking good at that.
and they're still expected to support the Wii U and the 3DS and all that stuff.
Okay.
And then on top of that, I think that they said that they would have Smash Bros. As a launch title for the NX.
Oh wow.
Which will be awesome, as that will probably boost its sales
What did that?
quite a bit.
What was the? It was just called Smash Bros. Wii U or whatever. What was the last Smash Bros. Called? Because sometimes they like to call whatever the system is after the title.
I think it was Smash Bros. Wii U, but most people just call it Smash Bros. 4. Because that's...
I've never heard that said.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a big Smash Bros. Guy though, so
okay.
I don't hang in the Smash Bros. Circles. I got a piece of news here. Apparently, Microsoft stopped reporting Xbox One hardware sales, but some I guess EA put down like their sales numbers for the systems, their estimates, and apparently there were 55 million new gen consoles in people's homes by the end of last year, and 35.9 million of those were PS4. And so, with some reverse engineering, they have found that the Xbox One apparently sold around 19 million units, which seems so insanely low compared to the PS4 sales, which was 35.9 million. Yeah. Woo! I'm a big PS4 fan, also.
Yeah.
So you only get the purest
apparently,
Xbox.
Apparently, and we're, a lot of people are saying that the Xbox One is kind of failing, but it's not really failing since around the same time in the console lifespan of the Xbox 360, it's actually ahead of where the 360 was at this time.
Well, when did the 360 come out?
Oh, I can't remember.
2007-ish?
Yeah.
Well, what happened shortly after 2007? 2008.
Dun.
The market crash. No one had any fucking money. That is kind of a failure if you look at it that way.
Well, Xbox 360, I think, was the first one within the generation, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, they
So, and Wii was the biggest, and I think Xbox was the second biggest for a long
But just
time.
a teeny bit. It just barely
Because
beat out PS3.
PlayStation's launch was really bad.
Yeah, it
with the
was.
PlayStation
It was
3,
too expensive.
and it
Yeah.
slowly built over time.
Yeah, they're basically neck and neck. I think a couple 100,000 more for 360.
So it is quite behind PS4, and
Quite.
it's not. It doesn't look like the Xbox One's the games for 2015 are really going to pull it ahead, and PS4 apparently has. A lot of
that's
games
what's
coming
weird
out
is
this year.
like, yeah, the PS4 has some coming out, but they don't really have anything that's super drawing. I mean, we all have one except for
I think
Cameron until later.
I think we're going to look at
Later
some lineup stuff for it later, though.
Okay, yeah, we can have this discussion on this gen console war. So now that the cat's out of the bag, I'm just going to give you my PC news here, since we were going to kind of keep it a weird on the down low thing, but then Caleb's like, well, I have some Nintendo news. And
I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, what's the problem?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
I was looking
What
at
the
the
fuck are
news.
you talking about? He has Nintendo news.
I don't know why it matters. I don't understand that.
Go ahead.
It literally doesn't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Even if someone were to figure it out, no one would
We
give.
can have this discussion
no one
outside
would
of this.
give two shits.
We can have this. They have no idea what we're rambling
That's
on
because
about.
it's nothing. It's never been anything.
They have no idea what it is. They have no context. Listener, just ignore our last 20 seconds. All right.
Yeah, you don't
Oh
need
my
to know.
Okay, what news
All
do
right,
you
so
got?
since I'm in charge of the PC news,
Okay, now you know.
no, I looked up a bunch of stuff because I I love the PC. Anyway, there's a good sale going on Steam right now. It's 2K weekend. You get up to 85% off certain titles from 2K. I mean, they've got
This advertisement brought to you by Steam.
Yeah, I wish. Jesus. 2K's brought us Civilization. They brought us Borderlands. They brought us. I think it was wasn't 2K BioShock?
Okay, so what's for sale?
Yeah, I think so.
Their whole catalog.
Okay, so
2K
Jesus,
games,
dude.
Yeah, we're talking like the whole BioShock triple pack, $10.50.
What?
Yeah, dude. I
$10.50
think
for all
we've
three.
mentioned that before. Like
Civ 5 complete edition is $12.50.
That's
a great
all
deal. I
the
spent like
DLC.
$80 fucking on Civ 5. So yeah, that's pretty solid. Origin, the sales, it's I don't really care. But they
for their
do
20
have
games.
They do have an on the house thing they do every month where
It's
they
on
give
the
you
house.
a free game, and this month's entry is Jade Empire Special Edition. I've never played any of those
Nice.
games, but if you have an Origin account, it's up there for free. And let's see, one more thing here. Since there's not really any PC is such a changing market. I mean, it's hard to find like a definitive, this is happening, other than the Oculus thing, but I don't fucking care because I don't have $700
to drop
to
on
go,
it.
to go buy an Oculus. But there's this awesome thing called the Humble Bundle that Caleb Craig actually introduced me to. And basically you have different tiers you can unlock. Like you pay $1, you can buy this Mars Warlogs game, a few of these other ones. If you pay like $7, $15, you unlock different tiers and you can get 2 or 3 games out of here. And I mean, we've got the Sticks
No,
game.
it gives you all of them.
Do they
does it
show
give you
you?
all of them?
It gives you all of them. So basically what Humble Bundle is they have a bunch of games that they have on sale. Like you get like 5 games for like $1. You pay like the average of what everybody else is paying, which is usually like $5. You get all of those games and then the games from before.
But does it
and then,
show you what games are in the bundle?
Yeah,
yeah, it shows
Okay.
you see all the games like on there, and then most of the proceeds go to charities. So it's always nice to like get a shit ton of games for like $10, and then also be
Here, kids.
contributing to charity. So like go check that out.
Yeah, so right now
I
it's
guess
the-
I could be volunteering for something like Habitat for Humanity right now, but instead I'll give $10 and play video games for 60 hours.
Yeah, you
Sounds
can.
reasonable.
Sounds like a full-time
And-
job.
Yeah,
Jeez.
there you go.
And at the checkout, you can even distribute your money towards the varied charities that they have.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some cool stuff. There's the Game of Thrones game. It's not
Game
the
of
Telltale.
Thrones game.
It didn't look that great, honestly. But
That usually
we've got
does.
the Sticks game, a Sim City ripoff.
Sticks game, is that like Rock Band Sticks or what?
No, it's it's like a stealth game.
Oh, okay, so not okay.
And I'm not that interested in it because I got it for free on PlayStation Network.
And
is
you're
what I'm
not
there.
interested in things that you get for free?
No, I'm not interested in buying it on Humble Bundle when I already own the fucker.
Oh, that's what you mean by not interested. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not interested in purchasing it again.
All right, you got anything, Cameron?
Well, this is not specific to any one console, but something that I'm excited for, set to release here in February, is Far Cry Primal.
Oh my god, yes, I know.
I saw some little play videos of those, and it looks like it's going to be an amazing game. For those who don't know, Far Cry Primal, the next part of the Far Cry series, is actually going to send you back to the Stone Age.
So you can get stoned.
Although there is an
and you can
inaccuracy.
play Far Cry.
Yeah.
Yes, they have saber-toothed tigers and woolly mammoths at the same time. That did not happen. I'm willing to let it slide, though, because fighting both of them in one game.
What I feel like is an
fucking awesome.
inaccuracy is that you're this caveman going around with this crude wooden bow and a torch and a grapple hook. And climbing up cliffs with a grapple hook.
Maybe we had grapple hook technology before we
And
had the wheel.
he's just the smartest guy on the planet.
Why you make wheel? I have grapple hook. It's like this one guy is just super advanced.
So there's so many cool things in other Far Cry series. You used animals to your advantage. You have to kill them if they came after you, but you could like release animals out of a cage to create chaos and it can't below you. But this game, you can actually tame said animals and then have them do your bidding.
Nice.
That's pretty sweet.
I always thought that was weird in Far Cry 3. Like the lions would just wreck these guys. Like I would be able to kill the lions just fine, and they would be able to kill me just fine. Not the lion, but the dudes. But the dudes versus the lions, they just like went full retard mode. They could not kill the lion.
Well-
Like the lion just always won. It was nuts.
Well, let's give you a gun and put a caged lion near you, and we don't know when it's going to be released, but it's just going to be released when you least suspect it and see how you fare.
Right, it's not that. It's when there's 3 different guys in 3 different locations, and no one sees the fucking lion ripping the throat out of their best friend and thinks, maybe I should shoot this. They're just like, oh,
You
lion!
could shoot the best friend.
He's dead.
I would like to say something.
What?
We had a discussion right before this podcast that was about let's try to not offend people while we talk, and then you went full retard mode.
It's a quote from a movie. I feel like drawing extra attention to it only
that
makes
movie,
the...
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
That movie was sued for using the word retard too many times.
Well, that's unfortunate for them.
And then they put out an official apology and there's like a PSA on the Blu-ray of that movie that talks about how Down syndrome is not a joke and that you shouldn't call people retards. I'm not kidding. I'm deadly serious. That's what happened.
Don't give a fuck.
I know you don't give a fuck. I'm just saying that I thought it was really funny that we had that conversation.
Oh, you guys talked about that?
We talked about
there.
I wasn't listening.
Literally right before this.
We were talking about presenting a good face to the public.
Oh. No, we're not. We have an image of a chick that is pulling her fucking shirt up. What kind of image is that?
she's holding a controller.
Bullshit.
She could be wearing a bra.
Come on. You either are or you're not. Can't be fucking
Okay,
both.
it does say that we are immature young men at the beginning of the show.
Right.
So I think that gives us like reign for immaturity, right?
A little bit.
I'm not arguing. I'm not saying that what you said wasn't funny because it was.
He quoted a movie. Let's leave it at that.
Okay,
his own personal.
If it's a quote, it's okay.
Nude
That's what
Clan
I heard.
Gaming does not have.
Well, you do love your quotes. I just want to get in on the quote action.
Does not represent Nude Clan Gaming in its political affiliations.
I have another piece of news here.
We are neutral.
We have final sales for Metal Gear Solid 5. Apparently, it's shipped
Not selling anymore.
6 million copies, which is 2 million more copies than Metal Gear Solid 4 actually sold. So despite some mixed reviews and Hideo Kojima leaving, the game is doing extremely well for Konami.
Yeah.
And so maybe they should reach out, apologize.
Or maybe it's just a big PR stunt and he's still part of it. I don't think so, though. Not based on what I've
he's
seen.
not. He's officially gone. That was before he officially left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there was a whole bunch of drama that's all behind the scenes.
Well, shit, I'd like to play it. I only played 4
I would too.
for like 6 of its million hours, but I enjoyed it.
It's supposed to be like an 8-hour game.
There's like hours of cutscenes, though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what you mean.
There's like a 2-hour cutscene at the end, I think.
All right. Is that it for big headlines today?
I think so.
I think Super Street Fighter V comes out, or just Street Fighter V comes out next month, and then the remaster of Gravity Rush for the PS Vita comes out for the PS4.
Oh yeah. Some stuff for PlayStation Plus members. You can get the game Hardware Rivals for PS4, Grim Fandango Remastered for PS4 and for PS Vita, Dragon Age Origins for PS3,
Got it.
Medal of Honor Warfighter for PS3, Legends of War Patton, which I've never heard of before. That is for PS Vita, and a game called Nile Umbra is also for PS Vita.
And make sure to get those before Tuesday of next month.
Yeah, they'll switch into a different set. Yeah. So, well, have they released what those are going to be yet?
Yes, they have.
I think I was disappointed if I remember correctly.
I don't remember it being horrible, but it wasn't super great.
Shall we get fat?
Yeah, I suppose
It
we
is
could.
time to get
It's
fat.
time to get fat. All right.
With Caleb and Joe and Cameron and Caleb.
Yeah.
So, who wants to go first? Cameron?
Yeah, I can go first, but it's not like we switched hosts in the middle of the show, so I don't know.
No, that's how we used to introduce getting fat.
Yeah,
okay.
welcome to Getting Fat with Caleb and Joe. I am Blake.
Yeah.
Okay, so goal-wise, I've been doing... I was going to bring my book this time, but I am doing a good job keeping track of my funds. I've been to the gym only one time this week, so I'm still feeling there, but I have still lost weight. Oh. So my diet is working for me. There's lots of studies saying that exercise alone does not help you lose weight. You have to diet at the same time.
Well, it depends on how much you're exercising. Let's be clear here.
That's true, but
If
how
you're
much...
burning 6,000 calories, I don't think you have anything
But do you
to
know
worry
how
about.
long you have to exercise to burn?
No, I understand
6,000
that.
calories? So
I
that's
understand
why-
that.
that's
Those
why
studies
dieting-
don't include that.
I know. They're saying a normal person who
loophole.
is not going to work out and burn 6,000 calories a day. So,
Well, if studies were made for normal people, I guess I would.
If
be
they were
wrong.
for normal people, they wouldn't be for fat people. Just kidding. Kidding. God, sorry. No, but yeah, it is true. Exercise alone doesn't necessarily do it, but I've noticed if you exercise more, I feel less inclined to eat horrible stuff because
Yeah.
then I want to throw up after I exercise. But the diet is a very important part, and
Yeah.
that's clear in your weight loss.
yeah,
With
I've
your
been
one day
losing.
of working out.
No, I've been losing. Let's say I started at January. I got into my diet maybe like second week. No,
Let's
second week
start
of
a
January.
diet.
And since I started, I
let's
have
start a
lost
diet.
4 pounds
Dun, dun.
since I started.
Oh, that's
Nice.
good.
All right.
So there's marked progress there.
All right.
Be catching me soon.
Books. I'm still in the middle of my third book. Yeah, third book for
You wrote it. You're writing a book.
listening to books. I'm in the middle of my third one.
ADD and me. That's a great title.
Struggle.
Yeah, the struggle with
What was I always forget my other
It suits
goal.
you fine, really.
Yeah. Are you trying to think of the title of the book?
No. I'm trying to think of my other. So there's my finances. There's my weight, and then
Reading?
Reading.
just those three. So that's
Sweet.
my goal so
Cameron's
far.
on par.
No, I have to work out more.
No. Well, other than the big one.
Except the, one that
matters.
Yeah.
Okay,
What about
go-
you, Craig?
Yeah.
I've just been watching some movies.
Some.
Yeah, just some.
Some.
I am caught up. I need to watch one today, but spammed a bunch of movies in the recent days with Joe.
Oh, no.
Yeah, damn straight.
It's dark.
We watched 6
so-
movies together this week.
Yeah, so I think
Jeez.
since the last time that I watched anything, since the last time we did the episode, I've watched Dragon Hunters, Tales of the Night, Jimmy Neutron. Watch that again.
Oh, that was awesome. I love that movie.
Anomalisa, Room,
which is a wonderful
Spotlight,
movie.
Yeah,
Wonderful movie and a wonderful movie.
and then Atlantis, Milo's Return, which
Horrid.
is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz, which is like one of the best cop comedy
You're
movies.
counting that?
Oh, you
Comedy
watched that before. No.
I never
Caleb.
said these were going to be movies that I have never
Okay,
seen.
then you're not doing the 366.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah, I'm watching a movie every goddamn day, and like somebody who dropped out
That's not part of it.
before a month was up.
I'm just as
Anyways.
disqualified as you.
No,
In fact, I can catch up.
I'm not disqualified. And then let's see, and then I watched Persepolis and Blue Velvet with Joe. Oh, and then Lady Snowblood.
Lady Snowblood.
I forgot to add that
That's
one.
right.
That's fucking sick.
Okay. First off, Anomalisa is a wonderful animated film. If you have a little independent theater that's playing it, go see it.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, because
Room-
everyone knows that.
Room is fucking intense, and I'm not going to say anything except it is the funniest movie of the year.
Oh my god!
If just take the whole family, everybody, every age, let's all go see Room because it is a blast. And
so funny.
people who've seen Room know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, the movie Spotlight that we saw was just like All the President's Men, only with a newspaper company. They're a newspaper company. What the fuck is wrong with me?
I have no idea.
They're journalists going who are going after the Catholic Church. The true story from like 2001. God, that was a great movie.
Yeah, it
It was
was.
great. Persepolis, wonderful. We just saw like 5 amazing movies and one pretty good one.
Yeah.
I would say. Geez, dude, Blue Velvet. Cameron, you want to, I loved Blue Velvet. It was the first time I ever seen it. It's David Lynch. It's a crazy movie about, crazy people underneath this surface movie that's different. I don't know how to explain it. You just have to see it. But Cameron had some issues watching the movie.
I had personal issues while watching the movie. It was an amazing
about
movie. It was an amazing movie to watch. It's, you pulled into it, and I think it does a great job of describing kind of what's going on even now. You have this, what's going on in the surface, and then what's going on beneath the surface
Of society.
Of society.
Yeah, okay.
But I did not like seeing what was going on beneath the surface, and the stupid decisions were made. Okay, no, stupid decisions were made, and he cried about them. Yeah, he cried. And I just did not have a good feeling watching the movie. But I think that was the point.
It was a bit too subversive for my friend here.
Yeah, I think his biggest problem was trying to figure out what was going on with the STDs.
And rape, and freaking crazy women, and
No, there's crazy men.
And crazy men, but they're crazy and violent, but then crazy psychologically messed up women as well.
I think that dude was way more messed up.
That dude was way worse than she was.
He was, but I just, it's so, and then you just don't do certain things.
The way that you're saying that sounds like a sexist movie where the woman is crazy.
No. She's crazy because of the crazy messed up guy.
Fucking dude.
Yeah,
Dennis Hopper in that movie, taking his drugs with the gas mask and then being like, oh, mommy.
Oh, dude, that thing was fucked up. And then he put the makeup, the lipstick on, and then starts making out with the dude, and then tells him that he'll send him a love letter by shooting him in the face.
You know what it means? You know what it means when I'm gonna send you a love letter? Oh, fuck, dude. Caleb, you have to see this fucking movie.
It's dark.
What was the thing? We were gonna watch it before. It was one of the 3 movies. Sometimes when we can't decide on a movie, we each 3 nominate a movie.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of knock it off until we find a movie that we're all happy with. Okay, let's watch this movie. And Blue Velvet was one of my nominations, and we didn't watch it. And I'm telling you, Caleb, you were missing out on one of the most fucked up weird movies.
It's too bad.
With a crazy Dennis Hopper. So
I'll have to catch it, I guess.
Nah.
What else did you do as far as your goals?
I actually finished a book.
Oh, cool.
I finished Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, which is one of the Harvard classics, of course. And I'm into essays by Francis Bacon right now.
So we should be seeing quotes soon?
You saw quotes. You saw plenty of quotes.
Oh, I ignore them. So
I like the Stoic philosophers. I like them a lot.
Yes.
And then I was also... Okay. This is what I wanted to talk about all day. There's a sequel to my favorite movie coming out.
God, I knew this was coming.
And it was called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And the sequel to the movie, no longer in the Chinese language. It is now in English.
Okay.
It's an abomination already.
The trailer is pissing me off because of that, but I have to see the movie because my favorite movie is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So the trailer is in English. The action does look pretty good. There's a novelization of the movie that was released a couple days ago. And so I bought it on Kindle. And I started reading the novelization just because, I'm a major fan of Crouching Tiger and I want to know beforehand how bad this movie's going to be. Now, I haven't quite figured out how bad the movie's going to be because I'm too engrossed by how bad the novelization of this movie is. And it has mostly to do with the writer. Now, I'm not saying that he can't write well. I'm just saying that maybe this was a little rushed. But let me read a little passage. This is one of the quotes I put up, by the way, that Caleb keeps talking about. This is one of the quotes I put up on Twitter. And it was mostly because it was just so bad. Now, this is a story that takes place in ancient China. And there was never a metaphor quite like this beforehand. And this is about a fifth of the way through the book. And he became more and more miserable until he felt he would explode like a New York firecracker. where powder is packed into a paper cylinder and remains quiet until the fuse is lit and it tears itself apart in the explosion.
Well, that's useless in most. You could have stopped after the New York firecracker.
Here's the thing
That would've
about the
been
New
fine.
York fire. Okay, first off, it's a modern reference. And then he has to go deeper into like the mechanics of the New York firecracker.
I think the modern reference is okay because it is a modernly released book.
I'm not so okay with the modern reference.
Yeah, that's not okay.
That
to
was
do.
the first thing that threw me off is like New York firecracker. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, especially because they had firecrackers anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
China
it's China.
invented
New York
fucking
firecracker?
fireworks.
No, that's why I'm saying it's kind of weird to put a New York one in there. I'm just saying they had them, so they didn't have
Okay,
to do
so
New York.
that the New York took me out of the book right off the bat, and then it was like, then he had to explain his metaphor. That pissed me off. That pissed me off this week. I'm gonna finish that fucking novelization too.
All right.
I'm gonna fucking finish it. I don't even care how badly written it is.
Oh, you have fun with that.
Yeah. So I also
look
watched-
forward to bashing the quotes.
Okay.
I mean, if they're bad ones, though.
No,
then-
I'm only gonna share the bad ones.
okay.
It's not like there's good ones anyway.
There's probably okay ones. Was that? No, you had a few other goals, didn't you?
I did get a new job on top of my other part-time job. I got another on-call part-time job that I'm not going to talk about, but it is more physical in nature, so I did get somewhat of a workout on my first day.
Okay. Did you lose any weight this week?
I didn't check. I haven't been weighing myself.
All right. I think that's it, right? For you.
Yeah, I'm waiting on you.
All right, so my goals, I have abandoned the 365. It's just too much.
Why is that?
I'm trying to play more games. I really want to be involved in the games that you guys are playing as well, just because we're playing games that I've always wanted to play.
That's my problem with Ico, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play your guys' game.
Well, you could, but you'd have to go buy it too, so there's monetary problems involved.
Yeah.
But, I just want to experience a lot of these, and I feel like the more, the better. I mean, if we do have one person that's kind of out of the loop, it's beneficial to the conversation to be like, well, what do you mean by this? But if we have three of us that are talking about the game, we can get three different perspectives, and I think it will benefit the show greatly.
True, but I also like the person coming at, asking questions from completely not knowing anything about the game.
Well, that's where Caleb comes
Well, there's
in.
still a third person.
Whether he plays it or not.
There will be eventually. There will be a couple games a year where we all four play them. I mean, there is a written down pattern to these episodes.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, this is planned.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll happen, but I think it does benefit the conversation to have an outsider's view, just to make sure to rein everything in.
It does, because it's like I've never played it before, and then we're trying to reach out to people who haven't.
Okay, so you've dumped the 366 in 366. Now you do have a list of 1,300 movies that you will someday watch.
Yeah.
How are you? First off, how are you going to get that done? And second off, with the double gaming, is that going to affect Ultima Final Fantasy?
No, I don't think so. We're in an era in Ultima Final Fantasy where we're not playing games that have platinum trophies.
Oh.
And admittedly, there may be extra content in these games, but I'm not going to overdo myself to the point where I'm incapable of doing it. I mean, I'm not going to play every game.
I mean,
that we
you
come
are
across.
suggesting that you will be playing 3 games at a time, and that just 3 games at a time that you have to beat within a certain amount of time. That just seems rough. I'll be honest.
And it's not. It doesn't have to be. I don't have to finish Fable, for example, when you guys finish it. I just kind of want to be part of it.
Oh, okay.
In a way, because I feel like people value my input on these games.
Sure. Okay.
And if we could all do a game review every other week, each of us, I think it'd be awesome. But there's just time constraints. Yeah. So I did that, and then also pretty soon I'm going to be starting an art class for my degree. I have like 1 art credit I have to do, and it's like a 2-hour class 2 nights a week. And I've got a 50-minute class before that, so there's literally no way I can watch a movie on those 2 days a week.
I have 2 days a week where I can't watch a movie.
Yeah, but I'm not willing to binge on movies every weekend. Like, I don't know. I get into these slumps where it seems like I'm just doing it just for the challenge, and that's not what I'm about. I'm doing it for enjoyment.
See,
that's why I play the Final Fantasies to not necessarily to completion, but as close as possible, or as close as I'm interested in, because I feel like I want to experience it for the experience, not for just beating through the game, going through the game, and I don't want to watch a movie just because I have a challenge that I'm trying to take to watch more films.
Okay. I do want to say that for me, it's pretty much never been a chore.
That's
for me to
exactly
watch
why
a
you're
movie.
reading the Harvard Classics, though. It's the hog status.
Oh, the Harvard Classics, it can be a chore. There have been some that I've really enjoyed. The second half of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius was a little rough, but Francis Bacon is a lot easier to get through. But I not like that is a little bit of a chore, but it's a chore I set out for myself for personal gains.
Right. No, and that
And it's not
does...
so much for the hog status, although I will happily share that I am reading the Harvard, that I'm into volume
Oh, you'll
of the Harvard
share that?
Classics.
That's good. I mean, I'd hate to have you bottle it up, and
okay.
just keep your
I'm
accomplishments.
involved. Yeah. Anyway, I when it comes to the movies, I've trained myself to just give myself up to the movie. Something that bugs the shit out of me that Cameron's not willing to do when he watches a movie, and so Cameron always talks about the movie while you're watching the movie. It's kind of an emotional state where you go, okay, I'm going to play this now, and I'm just going to take whatever it gives me. And so it's a mental exercise that I got myself into, but it's just pure enjoyment now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if I were to do the 365 but only watch movies on the list. That's with a goal in mind at the end, which it's something I want to do by the end of my life. I think that would be important to experience all those movies, but it's not at that point. It doesn't become me wanting to appreciate art. It becomes me wanting to do it just to fill out the list, and that's not what I'm about.
Yeah,
That's where there's a philosophical difference between the two of us.
okay, I also have another philosophical difference between the two of us. The types of movies that you go get, they're not very eclectic. They're in the lists that you're trying to fulfill. I have lists, plural, but you have a list that you're trying to fulfill.
Yeah.
And that's the 1001 movies to see before you die list.
Right.
Right. And you've seen
250-ish,
250.
240.
Okay. All right. The thing is that you keep renting the movies that are one, dark, two, violent.
Yes. Those are the best kind of movies.
I understand that that's what you're saying. Those are the best kind of movies, but the reason for the list is to have kind of a mosaic of film experience.
Right,
And
but
when I
it's-
see you renting movies, I'm like, okay, does he actually want to have all these experiences, or does he just want to watch a genre movie?
That's not the only thing I watch. Let's look at what I've watched recently. So I watched the Dirty Harry movies.
Okay.
They're dark. Watch Mean Streets, Casino, that's dark. The Big Short isn't dark.
Okay.
Interstellar isn't dark. The Naked Gun isn't dark. You haven't seen Interstellar.
These all
so you
seem
can't
to
say
be
shit.
like things with very masculine edges.
The
to them.
Graduate is not masculine.
Okay, The Graduate's an off there.
Godzilla is nothing. The one I watched.
Godzilla's not an off there. It's more popcorny than
Eyes Wide Shut is an off.
okay.
It's
Eyes
not
Wide
masculine
Shut's
at
an
all.
off.
Good Will Hunting's not masculine at all. Star Wars, it's nerdy. Jurassic World, Halloween. I do like dark
I'm
movies.
seeing a very dark edge here, a very masculine edge to the movies that and I understand because those are the movies that I probably like the most. Also, I like really gritty, violent movies.
Right, and I want to watch what I like, not necessarily what a list says I should
I'm
watch.
saying that if you're trying to ever fulfill that list, you should probably mix it up a little bit. Because otherwise, you're going to be... Okay, I have a list of 100 movies right now that I need to get through, and I'm through 40 of them or something like that. I'm going small list at a time. So my list is the 100... The critics... or the Sight and Sound poll for top 100 movies chosen by directors.
Okay.
Okay? What I have left... There are maybe 3 English language movies left that I have not seen. And most of those movies that are not English language, they are either French New Wave movies or Russian art house.
Well, and here's where I'm going to call bullshit on your I want to become involved with the movie. I want it to pull me in. How can you do that if you have to read the subtitles?
you can.
No, I don't think you can.
Yeah, you
I think it
can.
takes
Yeah,
it
you
out.
easily
I
can.
think you get taken out of it because you're not watching what's happening. You're reading the subtitles.
I so disagree with you.
It takes a
Yeah, I
second
do
to
too.
read it. I think you can achieve that, but I think it does take away
Usually
from
they-
some of the art.
They try to set up the subtitles so that they're just enough.
Right, but
for you to be able to watch
the
the movie.
moment you take away to actually
And most of
read
those
it,
movies are not wall-to-wall dialogue. They're
No, I
usually
underst-
something visual.
I understand
That's
that.
why they're
but
on the list.
It takes some of the visual aspect out of it with some of those.
I
Not
just-
that I'm saying they're bad. There's
and
nothing
when I
wrong
say
with them.
I'm giving myself to a movie, it's also the narrative of the movie. It's not just the visuals.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the whole thing. It's
I
the
feel
whole
like
package.
I feel like sometimes that can dampen it. It's, not that I.
it's a mental thing that I can't quite explain how to do what I'm trying to do.
Well, I that might be true with the list
So I'm saying I think your interest in the list is more hog status
than
and
yours.
and
I call bullshit.
But everything
you can't tell me you're interested in
watching.
watching those fucking Russian movies.
I am interested.
No,
in
only
watching
because
them.
someone told you that you should watch them.
And
I feel like that's the only
Here's the
legitimate reason
why.
behind that.
The reason why is because I want to know why.
No,
they
right.
told
I
me to
understand.
watch
You're
it.
giving into the authority of the people that made the list, which is totally fine.
And I want to
just-
go. Okay,
I
want,
could just care
I want to
less about any of
expand
that.
my creative side. I want to experience things I've never experienced before, and I've experienced dark, gritty movies all the time. So if I'm watching something by Tarkovsky, which goes off into these weird dreamscapes where you're not quite sure where in the movie you are, where in the timeline you are, what exactly character's viewpoint that's you're going through, like it's a different thing. And so I want to experience that. If I just chose to watch only Hollywood movies, or if I chose to only watch action movies, I would be limiting my experience. So these lists are a way to expand my experience.
Right, and I'm fine with that. I don't have
Because
any,
otherwise I would just be renting what I see at the library that looks interesting.
I don't have any problem with either of those methods. You can just watch movies for the enjoyment of watching movies without
It's not a
having
hog
to.
set.
I look at those movies as a way of you're just studying as part of your degree. That's the way I look at it.
I don't see it that way. A film degree is a worthless degree.
Well, and I like to watch series of movies. I like to see characters develop. So
All right, that's fair.
when I watched, the Dollars trilogy, I watched them all 3 in a row. When I watch the Dirty Harry movies, I'm going to watch all 5 of them in a row. I'm not just going to watch the one that's on the fucking list and just abandon the rest. The
No,
list
I wouldn't do that either.
The list can fuck off as far as a lot of movies go.
I wouldn't
There's
do
great
that either.
movies that aren't included, and there's some trash on there. Or at least some movies that I'd give like 3 stars, maybe.
They're usually on there for a reason, and I'd like to know why. I usually look up stuff after I've watched the movie, like, okay, why do people find this movie important? Like, I watched The Mirror by Tarkovsky, and I didn't get it, but I did watch another movie by him, Andrei Rublev, and I thought that was, like, okay, I get why this is on the list. But The Mirror, not so much, so I just wanted to see.
So I don't think it's necessarily about hog status with me. It's just kind of like whatever my mood is, I'll try to find a movie that's supposed to be critically acclaimed in that genre, and that's what I'll watch. So with a comedy, I watched, Naked Gun because it's supposed to be this great movie.
See, I'm just wondering, and I'm not accusing you of anything here. I'm just wondering if you really actually do want to fulfill the 1001, because that is going to be sometimes those movies, those really art housey, not sure what's going on movies, they put them on there because there's something really different, and you may not, as an audience member, want to watch those type of movies. So, do you actually want to fulfill 1001, or you're broadening your horizons a little bit, but you still want to stay within your kind of range of genres that you enjoy?
I don't mind bouncing around different genres. Like I don't feel the need to diversify myself to the point where I'm not well versed in a particular genre, and that's what I feel like you might end up doing. I mean, yeah, you'll watch a ton of movies, but I think there's strength in watching a couple genres that you really like, because then you can really understand those. Instead of being a jack of all trades, I can be a master of a couple different trades.
Well, there's nothing to master with watching.
No, there's knowledge. There's certain
Yeah.
tropes. There's certain things that I might be able to pick up on better than you, even just by watching a couple genres in mass.
Sure, yeah.
And it's not that I'm not interested in watching those art house ones. I know that the list has a bunch of fucking movies that are going to be a giant bore, and they're gonna seem like a waste of time,
I
and they
just get
probably
this
are.
image in my head when I'm watching this like overly artsy movie, And
Cameron, you haven't seen any overly artsy movies.
I've sat down and watched portions of movies with you.
Yeah, but you walk in the middle of them. You haven't allowed.
I sit down and I see this. I'm like, what's going on here?
Do you feel like he's doing that just for the list sometimes? Is that how you feel?
I can't. I don't know how he's feeling. No, what I'm trying to say is I just get this image in my head of this director, and he's sitting there all in his artsy outfit with his little director's hat on, with this cigarette on that long stick thing, and going, well,
like some uber douche.
You don't understand it. You just don't understand. You're not a connoisseur of the art. And I'm just like, I just want to punch him in the face.
Yeah, I mean, there's been examples by even artists where, I can't remember what the guy's name is, but he put up an art display that was just like a toilet, just to see how people would receive it, because his works were greatly well received in the past, and that got well received too. And he just said, this is the death of art. It's everyone thinking that, oh yeah, this is, because it's so different and it's so this and so that it's a masterpiece. And that's not necessarily true.
A picture of a potato got sold for $1 million.
The audience most audiences watch a movie for the story and the characters. That's what most audiences watch it for, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Cameron obviously is one of those people who say, if I'm not interested in the story and the characters, then it doesn't mean anything. However, if you're watching it as film, as its own art form, it has to do with like camera placement and the meaning of a frame. And why did they use this color or this shirt? Like, why are they wearing the shirt with that color? Like, what does that mean? In the frame, it's called mise en scène, Cameron. It's the meaning, how they're using visual things to tell the story or to give the audience a message. Okay. So that's actually another thing I'm looking for. I'm also looking to enjoy the movie. I start every movie assuming I'm going to enjoy it.
This is something that you're passionate in. It's your career. You're studying it, and there are certain films that will show a certain thing to a degree where you can really learn from it and then use it later in your own work. But
or every time in Tarantino's case, you can just rip off.
Yeah, we saw Lady Snowblood. He ripped off so much stuff.
What did he rip off Lady Snowblood?
Everything.
What is Lady Snowblood?
It's Kill Bill.
But I don't know. It's kind of hit and miss, and
it's kind of a grimier, sadder Kill Bill.
But here's the thing: when I start a movie, I finish the movie, so I'm not just going to not watch it.
Okay.
If I want to do the list, I'm going to do the list.
All right.
It's just not of such an important thing that I'm going to shove everything else in my life to the side just to watch a movie every night.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a separate goal for me, because not every movie I watch is on the list either.
Yeah, no, same with me. Like, I've only watched the last week.
If I got nothing to do, I will watch a movie on the list.
The last week, I watched 3 Kill Bill movie, or not Kill Bill, 3
Where's the third one?
Yeah, I think there is going to be a third one.
Yeah.
But anyway, I watched 3 Dirty Harry movies, and they're all pretty good.
There.
Great quotable stuff. I just like Clint Eastwood. Wanted to hear him before his voice got extra
Clint Eastwood.
gravelly.
I love Clint Eastwood.
And plus, I've always quoted it as saying that I think he's better at directing than he is acting, but I still kind of think that, but he's still pretty solid as an actor. I don't know if his range is necessarily there, but
no one has ever called him a great actor. He's a great star. There's a difference.
Yeah, if you know your place and you stick in that place.
Yeah, like Tom Cruise. Maybe not the greatest actor in the world, not saying he's bad, but he's definitely not he's not Marlon Brando, let's say.
Oh, he's not even Jack Nicholson.
He is a fantastic star. He carries a movie like
he can.
No one else. Like,
he's pretty good at it. Yeah. So yeah, and a lot of people hate him. I don't really know why, but
he jumped on a couch, and he's a Scientologist, so people hate him.
Jumped on a couch.
Do you not remember? Caleb knows what I'm talking about.
I know what he's talking about. He did it on Oprah.
Look it up after we're done here.
I know what you're talking about.
Tom Cruise jumping on a couch. Yeah, no one cares. Exactly. No one really cares.
No one that matters cares.
Yeah, us four. We don't.
No, and I like movies for the art feel too. I mean, 2001 isn't a riveting story. I mean, it is awesome.
See, if you like 2001, though, I think you can probably kind of go just take a break from the crime movies for a little bit.
I can. They're just so addicting and so awesome.
Watch maybe some of those Tarkovsky movies that's about the visuals, about the feel, not so much about the narrative, because 2001 has a small narrative portion.
It's very deep, but it's very subjective too. Yeah. It's not. It can.
Cameron, have you been able to make it through 2001?
Yeah, I watched it all the way through. I liked it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
all
interesting when
visual,
you start a movie
basically.
at the beginning, huh?
Well, see, there's
If
that
you started the movie in the middle, you would have been like, "What?
Yeah,
Why is it just?"
I come home from work or school sometimes, and you're just on the couch like normal and watching a middle movie. I'll stay there for a second and go, this is artsy to be artsy, and then I'll leave.
Barry Lyndon was artsy. Of course, it was a lot of things.
yeah, if
I
you walked
loved
in the
Barry
middle
Lyndon.
of Barry Lyndon, you'd be like, "What the?"
No, I wouldn't have, because there's a huge difference between Barry Lyndon and some of the other movies you've watched.
What about Eyes Wide Shut? Did you like that?
I don't know if I've seen that.
That's the one with the
orgy that you walked into.
yeah. Oh, is that?
oh,
Did you walk in
Cameron
part
walked
way?
into the movie during the orgy. By the way, for those at home,
Wait, who is in Eyes Wide Shut?
Tom Cruise.
I watched that from the beginning with you guys.
Wasn't the one scene awesome? In the orgy place. That's like amazing. I think it's freaking perfect. It sucks that the rest
Is
of the
that
movie
is
couldn't
that
have been
an
that good.
artsy movie to you guys?
Yeah, that's very.
That's
But see, there's a huge difference between these movies you're listing and
one's
some
in
of the
color
movies I've watched.
and one's in black and white,
No, there are some black and white movies that I
and
like.
and foreign.
There's just certain.
Do you
things,
see art film when you see foreign?
No, I do not. Like, let's just take what's his name, Tarkovsky.
Yeah.
That whole little dream thing. I started that with you, then I had to leave because it's just like there was no timeline for you to follow. It was like, okay, here's this. Now he's having a dream, and it's really, really weird. And then all of a sudden, he's an adult talking about, but it's in a dream still. But then it goes back,
Okay.
and they're like, ah.
The Mirror was an extremely hard to understand movie, and I had to look up what was happening in the movie. It's about this dude who is just before death, and he's remembering his mother and his girlfriend, and they look similar. So they're played by the same actress. And it's just like this, he's right before death, so it's this ethereal sort of thing, and then there's poetry, and it's weird. It's a weird movie, has beautiful images in it. So at the very least, when you're watching a weird movie like that, you go, "Oh, that's pretty."
Well, you didn't say that to the Rob Zombie movie we watched. Didn't have a storyline. I thought there was some great imagery in that. Some awesome camera. Like when the person's coming and like all you can see is like their outline and they're coming out of the light. That's fucking awesome looking.
I did say that at the end of the movie. I said it had good cinematography.
Yeah, and yet that's a two. Admittedly, I gave it like 2.5 stars too, or 3 stars.
I'm not sure what I would give The Mirror, or if I should.
Like how do you judge that against the other one?
It also wasn't a scary movie. It didn't work on me.
It was a depressed movie, is what I think. When I go and think about that Tarkovsky movie, you were just depressed. That's all I could get from it.
Well, that's a powerful thing if a movie can make you feel depressed. There's
No,
something
it's
to be
just
said
like
about that.
Yeah.
it's like being lost in someone's fevered dreams. And I guess if that was the point, then they did an A-OK job.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Just go eat some bad Chinese food. You can experience it firsthand.
It's one of those movies, Cameron. There are some filmmakers who believe that the art form should be its own thing. It shouldn't be a storytelling medium, and that
Great for them.
they're trying
I'm
to
not,
have you
if that's what they wanna
look
do.
at their movie and go, "What is this about?" That's what The Mirror is, by the way. It's not a movie that like only Russians can understand. It's a movie no one can fucking understand. And so, yeah, he's making a movie for you to go, "Huh. What does that mean?"
That was weird. And then move on with your life.
Yeah. And he could be putting meaning in it, and he could not be. But it's Tarkovsky, and apparently he is trying to put meaning in it. So.
Well, it doesn't really matter what meaning the artist puts in if you don't
That's true.
perceive that.
But the willingness to explore that
Yeah, no, I agree.
it depends on the audience member. I am willing to explore it. Cameron is not.
It feels-
And it's not a dig on you, Cameron, because you're just like most people.
No, it's just like I'm sitting there,
just
I'm
normal.
watching this.
Stock.
I'm watching this, and I feel like I'm wasting time. There's like I could be doing stuff.
Did you feel that when you go to an art museum?
No, I love going to art museums. I love going to museums.
It's the same thing.
With any sort of medium of entertainment, like it almost doesn't matter to me what the artist wants. Like it does put a portion into the overall meaning of it, but really what I take out of it is all I care about.
Okay.
So like
I can
if
respect
they might have said, "Oh, well, no, this is because of the Indians, the natives." Well, I'm like, "No, it isn't. It didn't have really any imagery except for like a can of fucking tobacco twice in the movie." It's not about that. it's about the psychological state of this person. It's about a plethora of things, and it really depends. Like, it is valuable to know what their intention was, but that doesn't necessarily make that true just based on relativity. I think everything's
with that Tarkovsky movie. If you told me it was about this guy having these dreams and him being on his deathbed, then I would have probably been able to watch that film. I would have probably been able
But
to.
it never shows him on his deathbed.
Oh my gosh.
You saw the beginning of the movie.
I did.
It was the lady. She
I had no idea what was going on. I was taking it seriously.
and then
Like
the
you
house
said,
burns down.
I was taking it as a seriously progressing movie. I was expecting to have a beginning, middle, and end, but it was not provided to me.
He was also, by the way, this Tarkovsky guy. He's a very interesting fellow. He had a film theory around his movies where he actually had he had rules about moments when you should use color and how voiceover should work and stuff like that. Like, he had rules for all these things, and his movies were experiments to see if his film theory would actually work. So, in a way, they are the reason why they're on lists like this. Like, you must see this movie if you are a filmmaker. Like, the reason they're there is because it's exploring the possibilities of what film can be. I don't know why it's so problematic.
It's not problematic. This is his refinement. This is him finding out what's working. So why would I want to watch his trying to figure it out and then watch his masterpiece?
Mirror was supposed to be his masterpiece. I think Andrei Rublev was a much better film, and I've heard the movie Solaris, a movie I have not seen. It's supposed to be amazing, and it's supposed to be like the Russian version of 2001. So I will see that, and I'll see what I say about Tarkovsky after that. He only had 7 movies, and I think 5 of them are on the list. So that'll be fun to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so anyway, I abandoned the movies thing. I just watched 3 Dirty Harry movies, and I don't know, I enjoyed them. They were fun.
Someone did ask if we could have a movie podcast, and I still say no. But, you can always listen to the tail end of these, because I'm sure I'll talk about
He's fine to have
movies
a movie podcast segment, but somehow making an actual separate show will curse his ability to make a movie in the future. And
don't try to critique films in a detailed level where I say, fuck this guy. I don't know. Yeah, people know. People on the UFF show know.
Yeah.
Why I don't want to do a movie show.
Well, anyway, I did end up losing a little bit of weight. I think my yoga class is really helping out for that.
Ooh. Getting all flexible for me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know it. Still doing all right in school. I mean, I haven't really done anything yet. It's still fresh. And I did read a book, so I read Anthem by Ayn Rand. It was interesting. She's a good writer, I think. She's just kind of crazy, But she also has apparently the same personality type as me. So
the INTJ?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm kind of a cynic, so I think that's why I watch a lot of those darker movies, because I think that's very realistic. I think that most people serve their own purposes, so let's be real here. And that's why I think a lot of those movies I can accept and find entertaining, is because it's a reality. But
yeah, I don't agree with that philosophy, but
yeah.
Oh,
that's all right. I'm smarter than you.
Based on what?
I don't have to base on.
You have nothing to base it on.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Okay, Cameron.
I'm kidding. We don't have to do this.
No. Let's do this. I'm interested.
No. If we're going to have a discussion like this, we need to have it based off of facts. So
No. It can be based on
I think we need to do the
IQ test thing. Is what if you really want to know. I mean, IQ test isn't even necessarily knowledge.
We burn each other on each other's intelligence all the time.
It's true.
We make fun of each other's intelligence all the time. So for you two, we can have a vote here, and it can be a blind vote. I don't give a shit.
A blind 2-0 vote.
Who is the least intelligent among me and Caleb? Ooh. Caleb and I.
If that's not, I don't even have to make it. See, like I said earlier.
Hey, you know what? I was listening to a podcast, and they said that was not necessarily a real rule.
No, it's not necessarily wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so We need someone with unbiased opinions and just there's no way.
No. You guys have to be biased.
There is no way to really. There isn't. I mean, Caleb knows things from his life that you don't know, and then you know things that Caleb doesn't know. How do you measure someone? How can
because there's crystallized intelligence, and then there's like the intelligence where your brain works.
It's the ability to learn. How quickly you learn things is what intelligence is.
Well, it's your ability to see certain patterns also. Like, that's what IQ tests are based on. It's like patterns.
Yeah.
And, but then there's also crystallized intelligence, which is knowledge. So how much knowledge you've gained.
Right, but that's not necessarily intelligence.
Well, they're both
That's just knowledge.
They're both different aspects of intelligence.
Yeah, intelligence is really just
So one is how you process information. The other one is how much information
that's not what intelligence
have
is.
processed.
Intelligence
No.
is... it's the ability...
I was looking this up when I was looking up the Mensa stuff before we started this podcast.
It's the ability to learn. Now, the ability to learn
There's different types of intelligence.
Is useless if you do not then learn. So I might pick up on things faster, but if I don't try to pick up on those, you can then be smarter than me. That doesn't necessarily mean you're more intelligent than me. That's why it's a tough thing to say. That's why Cameron's bringing it up, is because... yeah, you might be way more knowledgeable than me at certain things, but it might take you longer to get that than me. So really, it's all, and that's why the IQ test is flawed too, is because
IQ test sees it's a certain type. That's the pattern stuff. That's the mathematical.
Like some people, like some of us learn better. How do you guys learn well in school? I mean, do you learn better hands-on?
I'm kind of like a mixed learner.
Yeah, that's how I am too. A lot of people, they have to do it, but I can sit there and listen to a lecture for 2 hours, or I could, get an activity.
Let me put it this way. There are certain situations where I see Caleb excelling over you, and there are certain situations I see you excelling over Caleb. I'm talking to you two. You, Joe, and Schweiss.
Just let the audience know.
Yeah, that's true. We got to keep it an audio.
You, that guy.
That man there.
Okay.
On the other side of that other guy. That's what makes it tough, though. I think what we need to do...
How about when we team up and then tear Cameron down? I think we're pretty good at that.
Yeah.
You guys are pretty solid at that.
You guys excel equally.
At the teardown phase. We're good demolition artists.
All right. Okay.
No, it's just a dick offhand comment.
See, if Cameron, there's a social kind of connotation where if Cameron says that one of us is quote unquote better than the other, then
I don't care about your guys' fucking feelings.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Cameron, you do too.
No, you guys are just asses to me. Why would I be any different to you?
Well, we made it in a loving way, deep down inside.
I just really can't.
Kind of like the conversation about who's the best driver.
Oh yeah,
in the room, like.
No, we all know who the best driver is in the room.
If we're gonna vote on the best driver, I'm gonna probably say Caleb.
Why is that?
Out of you three,
I have brought you through snow, through the mountains.
Okay, Joe.
To Ephraim. Yes.
Who generally drives on long ass trips?
The most dangerous road in Utah.
And it is because
no, I drive on the long ass trips and do not get a ticket.
Nice.
It's because I've spent a lot of time.
How many trips have we
in
been on?
All of your cars. That
in the back seat,
in the back seat,
pants down,
in the shotgun.
Roadhead for the driver.
No, I don't. I don't suck.
No.
Anyway,
what, you just say you don't swallow?
No, I don't. I don't do any of that. No.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so there have been times where Joe has purposefully tried to kill us. And I don't think that indicates good driving in any way.
Purposefully tried to kill us.
Well, I mean, that does demonstrate.
You know that time where you just kind of like looked away and then specifically turned into a parked car and then turned away at the last fucking second does not indicate that you are a very good driver.
That shows ability.
Control.
Yeah, that does show control.
Not when I have to fucking tell him that the car is there.
That shows a disregard for your safety.
There are times when I have been in Joe's car and then certain other people were in his car at the same time, and he was terrible, terrible testosterone driven driver, and it was not good.
There were those days. That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
No.
I had female attention in the car. I had to deal with.
Although I will say, like,
we dealt with it.
the problem that Caleb has is always trying to race people at the light.
In his little Honda.
Yeah. I've gotten over that somewhat, but I still, whenever we go anywhere, it's like always a race. Like, we don't have to say anything. It's like, it's all we're always trying to like cut each other off and shit.
All right. So Caleb's the better driver, I guess.
Who's been driving you home from my house?
Joe.
Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we would walk
He
home
still
from
has 3
school, and
punches.
then I would give you a ride home.
3 punches left on his punch card. Virtual punch card. For Caleb.
It's virtual now, huh? You've
Yeah, I
programmed
told
it
there's a
into-
text. There's a text with proof.
He's got a little virtual hole
that's
punch,
like-
too. Just
Yeah.
virtual little trash bin.
I don't know if the audience knows just how competitive we all are.
Yeah, it's like all hog. Even when stuff like the
is
list
important
that's
to us. Let's just say that, and there's a list for everything.
It's true. There's always a list.
If our conversations about the hog status trophy has not been any kind of indication for you,
Smarter.
And we do have the Uber like master race competition that we've basically come up with. You remember that?
Oh, fuck. Do you still have the paper?
I think I do somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's like
I still
this,
think we need to simplify it a lot.
probably
Because otherwise it will be
it'll be our
forever.
downfall.
Yes.
Yeah. But and we'll have to get to that, and if we ever get any solid results, we'll know.
Okay.
But-
It's the man competition, and it has a million feats of whatever.
Of what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous.
But yeah, we're highly competitive, and we all have, actually pretty different personalities too, but there's still a competitive edge to all of it, so it's quite interesting, I think.
Yeah, what we should do is just get like boxing equipment and just like beat the shit out of
We've
each
been
other.
wanting to do that for a while.
once a
I
week.
got my fucking boxing gloves, and no one else did.
I got fucking boxing gloves.
No, it's not to be
Although they're
boxing
gone now, I
gloves.
don't know where
We
they
were
are.
going to go hand wraps, is what we were going to do. You have to feel it on the bare knuckle.
You could feel it with the boxing gloves.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Let's try to not
It's a little bit less danger that way.
break
too.
each other. It's to just hurt each other enough.
Yeah, just enough.
Okay,
let's do it.
Okay,
We'll
sissiest
do it.
person in the room. It's probably me. I got it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm the most sensitive to pain. How about that? And I the least amount of danger. That's what okay, all right. I'll take last place on that.
I don't even know if that was part of the competition, though.
I
Was
don't
it?
think so.
I don't think we had a
It's
physical.
a new
How close to the edge can you get?
it's one of the 20 million categories we can put. How about that?
Yeah, that's true. We could do it for the rest of days. Period.
But one of
probably.
these days, we're gonna have to go to that gym and rent out that ring.
Yeah,
We've
just
been
go.
saying we've been wanting to do it. We just need to find a time and actually do it.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna be bad. Like none of us actually fight, so.
That's the point of it. None of us actually.
So is it going to look legit from the outside then?
No.
Like we're just pros because we're equally shitty?
It's gonna look like a crappy high school fight, but it's gonna be fun because we're all the same level.
Okay. Well, no, actually, we're trying to see who.
No, who
Is-
who among us is the best at what we
At
don't
anything.
what we don't know? Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we've gone way off topic for a long time now. I think it's time to wrap up this show all about
everything.
digitalization.
Yeah, we will see you guys again next week when Caleb and I review Eco.
Yep. So be sure to check us out on Twitter. I'm at Joseph DeGollier. That's DEGOLYER.
And I'm at Nude Clan Cam.
Yeah, hot.
And I am at Obsidian Bob, BAH.
At UFF Podcast.
All right. And you can find us on Facebook. Just search Nude Clan. What is it? You're on the page.
It's a Nude Clan Podcast, the naked truth about video games.
well,
But you can just search a Nude
the
Clan.
URL.
Yeah.
Nude Clan Pod.
Oh, it is Nude Clan Podcast. NEWD. That's right. We did change it because it was some fucking stupid thing before.
Wasn't that stupid? You guys laughed at it. We also have a PlayStation community of Nude Clan Podcast.
Oh, yeah. You can join that if you want
Like
to.
that.
Is that Nude Clan 2 words?
I think I bracketed
God.
it. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, that's good.
Do the old bracket.
Yeah, that's how it originally appeared in Call of Duty.
And if you're on iTunes, please listen to our game reviews and give us a good good rating and review on iTunes. If you review us on iTunes, we will read it on the show.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
That is a guarantee, no matter where you are. So if you're in the UK or anything like that, we'll read it.
No matter your hate or your love.
Yeah.
It's true. Sometimes
Just
the
the
hates
love.
are hilarious.
Okay, you know what? Give us 5 stars, but then give us a bad review. Because,
Yeah.
like, we'll read the review, but just, like, be nice with the stars.
We want to remain on the up and up here.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
We'll see you then.
Enjoy the nude.
Live always in the nude.
Yeah!